Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Guys, how often is it that we start a show with breaking news?
Oh man, it's rarely happens. It's usually right after.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Steve, Andrew Nielsen from Morgan Klimchuk is not that big of a deal.
That's already 24 hours old, sir.
Oh, we'll get to that a little later. Why talk about that? From Burger Bites.
Oh no.
No, what is that
Burger
reaction
Bites.
for? It's really good.
No.
Nylander rights could be traded to San Jose for Erik Karlsson. Leafs would have to add one of Marner or Matthews to stamp deal.
Well, didn't he say yesterday that Nylander was in town? Wasn't he yesterday?
And there's footage of him not
in town. So is he just trolling?
Why is he doing that? I'm pretty sure, and that's. Oh my god, I'm not holding my mouth. I was just talking. I'm pretty sure that's against the CBA to trade. Don't you have to wait a certain amount of time to trade somebody who's just traded?
No. Because Mike Hoffman couldn't have been traded.
Oh my god.
Right?
Maybe it's just the NBA though.
Yeah. I find that very funny, and I think
that's
I mean, he's trolling at this point.
I'm gonna give him the credit that he is trolling.
I mean, this is a guy. If anybody doesn't know, Howard Berger followed the Leafs for like 20 years for the Fan.
Dude, he was like the Fan's guy in the early 90s, like when they started the Fan. And wow.
And then what's been interesting about him though is there have been several, since he's moved on from the Fan, he does a blog and stuff, but there have been several attempts at humor, but he's a reporter. So people are like, why are you purposely misleading us when your job is to be a reporter, and then you report stuff that isn't true and we take you seriously, and then you go, say I got you.
You're not Jeff on April 1st. Like,
No. Yeah, Jeff.
Which is an annual thing, and if you get fooled by it at this point, it's your fault.
It works though, every year.
Every single... Oh, I got to see the traffic numbers. That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a real good feeling when your number one post every year is a joke.
Who will target? Who will he target this year? Edmonton or Vancouver?
Who's this, Burger? Jeff.
Jeff, yeah. Ooh. Who would you go after? Because Vancouver's having a good time. So they're harder to, it's harder to throw someone when they're having a good time.
The easy one is Ottawa, because I'll believe anything.
It's true. I mean, he might make something up, and it might be true.
And it comes true?
Yeah.
How did he know?
Melnick action?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Eugene deletes faceoffcircle.ca.
Allegedly.
Did you have the follow-up to Howard Berger's?
No, there's a
Is there follow-up?
Oh,
7 minutes ago he tweets.
Oh.
I forgot how much fun it is to drive the basement dwellers among you over the edge. BT Dubs, Leaf/Nylander is done. No joke there.
Good one! Oh, did we Burger bite on that one?
Ooh.
It was a really good one. I don't know, Howard, you don't find that funny.
That's better. Yeah. Listen, we gotta start from the bottom, gotta work our way up. It's cool.
Damn, you guys have high standards.
No, back down again. Hey, so here's the thing. I was gonna start the show with this, but I think, Steve, you made the right call.
Yeah, I know.
You had to start.
Yeah.
But I just want to know.
I was on Tim and Sid. I know what I'm doing.
I want you guys to know that we missed a very important anniversary in the history of hockey.
What the?
Unfortunately, we were not able to do a show 2 days ago. But can anyone tell me what happened back in 2005? 2 days ago.
In November of 2005.
November 2005. It is today, as of this recording, the 28th, so this would be the 26th.
I was going to say the first game after the lockout, but no, that's too long.
I guess would be lockout related. CBA lockout related, yeah?
It is not. It is not.
Crosby and Ovechkin were rookies. A hat trick by Fabian Brunstrom. I don't know.
Did he get a hat trick?
He did in like his first game, and then never scored again. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, good for him. He was Matthews before Matthews.
Oh my goodness, he was so hyped.
Had he got that fourth goal, he would have been Matthews.
Yeah.
It would have continued.
Hit him with the forward like Fabian Brunstrom. It's just not as good.
No. I think more impressive is the fact that you remember that.
Yeah, with the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars legend, Fabian
Because the
Brunstrom.
Leafs really were in on him, right? They really wanted to get Fabian Brunstrom, and they ended up with They got a couple.
They got him. He played for the Marlies because they traded Mikhail Stefanovic to get him.
Wow.
And
oh my God.
Neither really panned out.
Talk about useless trivia. 2 days ago, back in 2005, New York Rangers defenseman Merrick Malik scores one of the most spectacular shootout goals ever against the Washington Capitals goaltender Olaf Kolzig with a between-the-leg shot in the 15th round of a 3-2 victory. Madison Square Garden.
But you see, that was pre-orchestrated by the National Hockey League. Gary Bettman.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, he knew that Merrick Malik could put it between his legs. Malik in the Palace, I call it. It's a disgrace.
This is not something that people believe.
There are a few people who think.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
I mean, yeah, dude, people believe dinosaurs weren't real. Like, of course people believe that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I only bring it up because
This podcast isn't happening. There's that conspiracy theory. That's a thing now.
we just used to make fun of Merrick Malik, mostly not because of his play, but just because he's made every top 10 list since.
It's honestly one of my favorite things to ever happen.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate
Here we
it.
go.
I can't stand it anymore.
Jesse's got it on his
it's-
laptop.
Oh,
Oh, Foles Kolzig was not. Oh, wait, that's not. That's the Foles shootout. Who gives a shit? Who would upload this? I'm mad at you. And of course, Jesse missed it.
There we go. Here we go.
There we go.
Eric Malik.
With his hammer on. Yeah,
And then he
Oh,
goes.
boy.
And that arm at center ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't celebrate too much though. You might offend the other
It was
team.
like they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they were bad.
That's Marcel Hossa, by the way.
Yeah, not Marion.
Love it.
Is it Malik?
Hey, that
Michael
Nylander.
Yeah.
Michael Nylander
Yeah.
was on the ice to celebrate. Man, he hit the water ball and everything.
He sure held out before going to the dressing room to make sure he congratulated Merrick Malik on this goal.
Is it Malik or Malik?
I think it's Malik.
Yeah, but we call it Merrick Malik because of Americans. So,
Merrick betrayal.
it's like Tavares, right?
That really should be a stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We should
what
have
country is he
t-shirts.
from?
Slovakia, I think.
Why is that not a stamp in Slovakia?
It should be.
Come
When he
on.
scored a shootout goal in a regular season game where I'm pretty sure his team didn't make the playoffs.
Right. Well, so anyway, what I mean by the Tavares thing is people called him Tavares in New York, but he came back to Toronto and he's like, well, it's Tavares, if you don't mind.
Dude, Andreas Janssen was Johnson for like 3 or 4 years before he's like, there's 2 S's.
By the way, there's 2 S's.
And it's a Y sound.
Why didn't you tell us, member of the Three Musketeers? That's what I think.
Right?
He looks exactly like D'Artagnan, that guy. It's
Little bit of Princess Bride.
so true.
A little bit of that.
Especially when he had the goatee going in the Marlies playoff run last year.
Oh yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back strong, Andreas.
How much space does Nazem Kadri own in the heads of the San Jose Sharks?
I can't. You know what's going to be funny is when something pops off tonight, and this podcast is already up. I don't understand what the issue is because Thornton clearly doesn't have a problem with it. Well, I guess you're going to read the quote.
Well, no.
Before I start going off
do you
on
want
it.
me to?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so the quote is this, and this is from Peter DeBoer, the coach.
Head coach of the San Jose Sharks.
This isn't a direct
Head
quote.
games coach.
Paraphrasing, but Pete DeBoer says he hopes when Nazem Kadri is 38 and playing on reconstructed knees, the younger generation shows him respect.
So
Respect.
Re-2-packed.
Because he's got 2 knees that are reconstructed.
Oh,
Re-2-packed.
It should be re-1-packed because Thornton was picked 1 overall.
Ah.
Yeah. What does he wear? 12? Re-1-2-packed. Dude, I love Joe Thornton. And he's a Hockey Hall of Famer, in my eyes. An actual Hockey Hall of Famer. We can talk about that later, mate.
What?
Him and Nez... Oh, do you see all the Marner stuff?
Oh, that he's a hot. Oh, that.
We'll get to that later.
Can we talk about it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Trust me. Yeah.
No, Joe Thornton is a Hockey Hall of Famer and a tough SOB. When I saw Kadri drop the gloves with him, I'm like, Kadri's about to get killed. I do that so often when Kadri gets in fights. He often bites off more than he can chew.
Yeah, he fights
you.
up.
Why has he fought David Backes twice? And I feel like Backes was like, it might have been off the opening face-off as well. It was really early in the game, I remember. But yeah, he yanks out Thornton's beard. I think it was by accident. The beard goes over his collar, and Kadri did what every hockey player has done in a hockey fight since the dawn of time, which is grab his collar and do the rabbit punches. They had all game to get him back. They had all last game to get him back, and then in DeBoer's defense, I guess they asked him about it again. But then now he's crying about like, oh, he fought a 39-year-old.
But here's the thing about that.
You dressed him.
If you
he's
go,
in the National Hockey League.
If you go back exactly, you're
what are you
absolutely
talking?
right.
It's Jumbo Joe. He doesn't need a babysitter.
Also, we should just throw out there that Joe Thornton initiated the fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
He started.
So Kadri should have turtled, which is another thing that hockey people frown upon. Hockey culture is ridiculous. And it bends and molds every day to just fit the way that player or coach is feeling. What are they grumpy about? All right, mold your ideologies to that.
Do you think
it's malleable? It's stupid. I hate it.
Oftentimes to galvanize people. Jesse, damn it, why did you put that up on your monitor? You're such a jerk.
Yeah, I've just been staring at Howard Berger for like 5 minutes, trying to ignore it.
I thought we were just continuing the show.
Just a big picture of Howard Berger's face. Because you Cretans, I like getting you Cretans going.
You basement-dwelling pieces of shit.
That's great, eh? Just calling your followers basement dwellers. That's
those
great
are the people
PR.
who follow you.
No, but anyway, with Nazem Kadri, what's interesting to me is that I think
He's great.
you've got to create an enemy, right? And the Sharks suck right now. Let's just be honest, they suck. They brought in Carlson.
I still don't
They got torched in Buffalo yesterday.
They had a comeback.
Yeah, but like
They got a point.
they did.
They got a point out of it.
But they
I
can't
guess.
feel good about that game. And I know that they lost in overtime. I get that. The point is, though, Buffalo, that's
wasn't the
Buffalo's
Grand
game.
Slam.
And
Oh,
Buffalo's
yeah.
on a streak, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But, San Jose's not playing well. They came into this year thinking, shit, we have Carlson. We're going to destroy worlds.
And I'll throw this out there. San Jose is going to do something monumentally stupid against the Leafs tonight. Because the first thing out of Jeff Merrick and Jason York's mouth last night on ice surfing, when Rasmus Ristolainen scored his goal, I think it was the 1-0 goal, did his crazy toe drag, whatever, does the sword spin.
Yeah, which was awesome.
In his hand.
I love
Yeah, the defenseman who he deked the pants off of was Brent Burns. So you deke the
Who
pants off
isn't
of-
exactly great on defense.
No, but he embarrassed Brent Burns, and the first thing they said was, I don't know if you want to be doing that to Brent Burns. Because Brent Burns, talk about a guy who doesn't need a babysitter, he'll kill you. He'll punch a hole through your head. Nothing.
But it didn't happen.
Nothing. Second game on a back-to-back, you lose that game, you have no response. There's this Kadri kid again. You know what? Let's have some nonsense. Yeah, I'm super stoked that Matthews is playing his first game against these guys.
Well, I think
all
Pete
pissed off.
DeBoer is trying to create an enemy out of Nazem Kadri to galvanize the troops, which I understand.
Troops!
It's a move that politicians make, that military leaders make. It's hockey coaches have used it for generations. We know. But the thing is, last game when they did it last game,
Make a villain out of Kapanen. He torched you last
they
game.
fought Kadri right off the top, or at least they tried to, and the Leafs made him pay for it in the first 2 minutes, like a second after that first power play ended.
Yep.
And I just don't understand why you're going back to that strategy, because it didn't work the first time. The Leafs are one of the top teams in the NHL, as the Sharks should be. Shouldn't it just be like,
They'll
let's
end
go?
up being that.
Yeah, of
They'll end
course.
up being that.
But shouldn't you go out and just try to win the game?
Yes.
Like, just how about we go back to the basics and play some good hockey?
Don't send Barclay Goodrow out there for the first faceoff. Like, the Leafs, they often start Kadri, and they're basically inviting the other team's top line to start against them on home ice, which is something I've never quite agreed with. But yeah, so why are you putting your plugs up? Goodrow had, I think it was 3 points when he tried to fight Kadri, and Malcolm Carlson had 1. The only like good player they sent after him was Timo Meier.
Right.
I don't understand
Right.
it. I don't know. Play the game. You might beat them. You scored 3 first-period goals against the Leafs. Not many teams have pulled that off this year.
And they're a great team.
Focus. Play hockey. Jesus.
Yeah, and I also think, too, I'm just pretty sure this is the last time they play each other all season.
Yeah,
Yes.
you only play that division once.
Yeah. I'm
Home and
amazed
away.
how often the Leafs get these really good first game, highly anticipated second game against teams they only play twice.
Yeah.
Like Vancouver.
Oh, Kadri alone, and it's always Kadri in the center. Kadri alone in Matthews' rookie season, I think it was, just went through Canada's entire West Coast.
Yeah, there was the McDavid game.
There was the McDavid game. He got into it with Mark Giordano, I think.
Oh, right.
And there was the hit on the Sedins. The
Right.
Sedins. It was on one of them. I just forget which
One
one.
of the two.
Daniel? I think it was Dan.
They're both one. So.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see. The Leafs are fresh tonight. They've got Matthews back. I expect Matthews' minutes to be somewhat pulled back on. Don't you?
Just play him on the fourth line. You took Gauthier out of the lineup. No, I'm serious. Like, just start him there. Start him there.
Oh,
I know it's
Who are you,
ridiculous.
Willie Desjardins?
Start him there, and then build his minutes. Build his minutes. That's what I'm saying.
Adam, why do you disagree with that?
Well, I'm just holding
microphone.
that. The reason I just remembered something. The reason I brought up Desjardins is something that I definitely want to talk about later. But it's interesting to me that that you would say that, because a guy like that, to get his game back, needs to play.
Yeah, I know. I might be wrong. I'm just being a concerned parent about my Auston. Whose parents were at the Leafs' last couple games.
Did you see
awesome.
when Marleau played his 1600th game and Christina Marlowe's got her camera up in there in front of her?
Yeah.
And Matthew's parents are applauding that. And I thought, how cool is that even when he's not playing, they're at that game. And, obviously, Marlowe's had a pretty big effect on Matthew's personal life. They're good friends. I just thought that was so classy that they're there, that they're cheering on the team. Dad's got the Maple Leafs hat on. That's really cool.
Held the door open for them to get into the arena?
Who?
Michael Nylander, because he likes holding things.
Yeah, but wouldn't he have hold the door closed because a hold out?
Sorry, you can't get out there. Now, it's funny about the Nylander situation, because we are it's 3:08.
You know what's funny is that he won't play for League Bin.
Yeah.
Doesn't he know how blessed he is? Pretty piece of crap.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Why won't he play for League Bin?
He's playing hockey for a living.
I don't even want him anymore. I don't even want him. I don't even want him.
So many of you sentimental suckers got sucked into David Pasternak and his quotes about, I could be playing in the Czech for a couple $100. You're not! You signed a $6.67 million contract.
That was perfect, though, what he said.
It was perfect.
It's like he wins both sides.
Yeah.
He looks great, and he makes Leafs fans upset.
You sit on the fence, and on top of the fence, there's a throne of morality.
He's also
that he just sits upon with his crown and scepter.
He's also good friends with Nylander.
Yeah, they're like best friends. Willie's probably like, thanks, Dick.
Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate
Well,
that.
you probably texted him and was like, hey, I was just screwing with the media today.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, screw away with the media. I don't care. I gotta make my money.
Yeah, I don't care. And then he's gonna come back and be fine. Like, dude, why isn't Pasternak playing for 5? Why isn't he playing for 4?
You could argue that he would have been worth 4.
Yeah, what, you can't get by on $650 a year? Come on, who are?
I mean, I could, but I don't think that you should have to at that level, because you are the top 1% of the 1%.
Yeah, but you love it. And you're only taking league minimum because it's the minimum under the CBA. You would take less if they allowed you.
Yeah.
Frig off. Like,
yeah, no,
he's
for sure.
just such a good guy.
I hate people, and I've said this before, it's a business negotiation. You can't assign a hero and a villain to this. There is no hero, there is no villain. Thank you for promoting my mom's show. I appreciate that, Steve.
The Marilyn Dennis Show.
Yeah, this is my house, by the way. I do find it extremely funny that people are trying to attach morality to this. It's not morality. One side is trying to get their money. One side is trying to make all their money fit.
It's emotion. People are mad.
Mm-hmm. They want them to play. I get that.
And I've been talking about numerous fan bases feeling themselves at various points during the year. Montreal, not so much anymore. They're on a bit of a skid. Vancouver fans were feeling themselves. Buffalo fans have to be feeling themselves.
Oh man, seriously.
Leaf fans, they're 17-8 without you.
But
you greedy piece of garbage.
That's the thing, is that because of this, I feel like Leaf fans have not had the chance to really feel themselves. There's an anxiety in Leaf Nation this year. Thank God they're winning. It would just be pandemonium if they weren't. Holy! Imagine they'd started the season something rational, like 12-10.
Nylander, damn it! No, I think Dubas would be a lot more of a villain in this. He's taking nothing.
Well,
I
think we're waiting for you. Wait till Sunday morning. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
He's getting signed.
He's getting signed. Especially the elder among us, not the old guys, but the older among us in the media are waiting. They got their knives ready. Absolutely, the articles are already written.
They've already set the groundwork.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen some.
We can and we will.
What pundits are saying what?
Yeah.
But they've been like, okay, if he doesn't get this done, this is the first chink in his armor, and they're like setting up to just go full. Dubas screwed this up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it takes two to tango.
And I got to tell you, I was watching Hockey Central at noon today, as I always do.
Well, what should he have done? Made a mistake?
And yeah, exactly.
Done what the Flyers are doing?
Yeah, but that's the
But
reasonable reaction. But you know the media in Toronto is going to go after
The
him.
Toronto media!
And they're going to say, Dubas failed.
Well, and Doug McLean's argument today was, well, if it's $300,000 apart, like Freach is reporting, just pay him the $300,000 and trade him, because you're going to trade him anyway. And I'm like, wait, why is that
What?
I'm like, I agree with Doug. If it's $300,000 apart, just
Is that what you were thinking, Doug?
Just
when
make
you
it
were
happen.
the GM of the Blue Jackets with your internal cap, I'll just give him another $300,000 a year? Stop.
Why not just do it all? Sign him, let him sit out the year, and then trade him.
Wow.
Just have everything.
pay him and then trade him.
Yeah.
Pay him but sit. You cannot
Why
play.
not?
Scratch him every game. You're not
Trade
gonna go
him.
down.
So wait, sign him.
Yeah.
Trade him for a defenseman.
Will you-
No, let him sit out the year and then trade him.
and then trade him, and then get him back for that defenseman that you got him for. And a third.
Listen,
And the third.
eventually.
2/3.
And Andrew Nielsen and Brown in a second.
I just don't
And
understand.
Frank Corrado.
And Frank Corrado, his rights.
Cap Friendly exists. You can go on, and
Cap Friendly.
James Myrtle did a great article about the Leafs and their potential options, and it was called "The Leafs Cap Situation." I think it was the Leafs Cap Situation, or impending doom is totally overblown, or whatever it was. But anyway, it was a few articles ago.
Didn't you write that? I thought you wrote that a while ago.
It was like a couple months ago, and he's right.
Yeah.
And I think
They
he
have
I think
over
he budgeted-
$12 million.
Well, yeah, and even next year, he's like, if they budgeted, they could still fit Nylander and Gardner
Yeah.
at raises, and that's the thing. He's like, whatever people are telling you about, they have to make a trade here with one of these stars. They don't necessarily, and
Even
I got
Marlowe.
like, well, even Marlowe, and
Listen to Babcock and the way he talks about him after he hit 1,600. You think he's getting traded?
No.
Stop it.
But as I've said before, and I included Marlowe in this to many's consternation, you have options. You have people that you can move. Connor Brown makes $2 million. If you need to squeak $2 million out, that's a useful NHL player that unfortunately you will have to lose players.
Yeah.
Andreas Janssen may have to go. Kasperi Kapanen may have to go. Now, I don't want Kasperi Kapanen to go. Nobody does.
No.
But if Kasperi Kapanen scores 30 goals this year and goes, I want $5 million, and the Leafs want to hang on to Jake Gardner, going to be pretty hard to pay Kasperi Kapanen $5 million.
He's not going to get 5.
No, he's not. But you know what I'm
He's
saying.
I'm
I'm overblowing it.
Your stars are the guys you try to sign long term, and by signing them long term, you get the cap hit down a bit. Your Kapanens are the guys you bridge.
Yeah.
So if he'll take it, good.
Yeah, exactly. So, but as of right now, we're about 74 hours away from the William Nylander deadline. So we are down to the hours.
Why has no one created a website where it's just a calendar clock?
Yeah, can you do that?
Yeah, you do it.
If I could use the Wix promo code provided by Steve Dangle.
You have a Wix?
No. Hi, I'm Carly Kloss. Sorry. We were just talking about different.
Do you have a Wix? Are you on Wix?
No, I'm not.
You're not
But you're a
representing-
YouTuber.
I know.
How could you not be on Wix?
What other things could Steve do as a YouTuber? As someone who doesn't regularly watch like certain channels, like
I don't know why the Steve Dangle vlog channel doesn't exist as a spin-off.
I would need someone else to edit it.
yeah, so you're not putting up 15-minute videos about
Pay
literally
someone.
nothing.
Oh yeah, just pay someone. This thing I'm probably going to lose money on.
It's called a sunk cost. Learn about investing.
Which one of you is Adam? I can't even tell you apart right now. What are you talking about?
Anyways, if you're not on Twitch, you're not doing a vlog channel, you're not sponsored by Wix,
I was gonna
I'd say you're doing this YouTube thing completely backwards.
I posted a live edit on YouTube the other day. I did a stream. I couldn't figure out how to put it on Twitch because I also didn't try very hard.
You could simultaneously edit on go live on YouTube.
I want to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I think you'll need more.
I want to do that. I also, at some point, and this probably isn't going to happen, but I just want to do it because I think it'd be fun. I want to play NHL ones for 24 hours straight because I just want to see if I can be the number one person. It's probably going to be hard.
No, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I want to try. Well, and apparently people have done it.
Can you just make sure that you put commentary on it? Because your videos are great, but I prefer to hear you talking.
No, I'm going to stream, Adam. I'm not going to upload a 24-hour video. Or am I?
The only thing,
I mean, it's YouTube, man.
I'm gonna do it.
People have, yeah. But just make sure you're on it though, and you can see your face.
yeah. Are
Like
you
Stone
gonna,
Mountain and all those
are you gonna
guys.
have a video of your television and your face?
Yeah,
That's the only way
I'll
that's
figure it
gonna
out. I'll do it properly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know how to do that because I'd like to set that up too and play
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. With
I mean, I know a producer
Yes.
who could help me with things.
Yes.
who's not busy at all.
It's not. You're both broke and now we're basement dwellers.
We are recording in Adam's house.
That's right.
Look at my tweets and take them seriously when I'm just trying to make you laugh.
I have an update, actually.
no.
Howard Berger tweeted a third time.
Yes.
His
How deep will this hole dig?
13 minutes ago.
How big was the wolf?
Sorry, Leafs folks. Had to reset my account. Someone lonely and disturbed did a copy hack job. Last tweet from me was about Pat Quinn. So he says he was hacked.
Wait.
Oh no.
Wait.
Do you
Hold
believe?
on.
Do you
Hold on.
believe?
How many followers does Howard Berger have?
12.3K.
So does that predate the original Nylander contract sign thing?
What do you mean?
Well,
So
yesterday
he hasn't
tweeted.
deleted them.
No, I haven't refreshed. I assume
Because he tweeted before, and he did
I
say
was pretty
he said he was the one who said earlier that Nylander was in town, and that Nylander was in town, and that he was signing the deal this week,
Sure.
and he's not in town. Is the Pat Quinn tweet before or after that?
That is after that. The Pat Quinn tweet was from 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay. So
You know, maybe he was hacked.
So
Okay.
do we believe that Howard Berger was?
Yes, I believe people when they say
Or did he tweet something
Regret
and then he just regrets it?
I just
and
okay.
No.
Listen, Howard. I get somebody trying to hack Justin Bieber's account. I don't know, Howard, that I get somebody trying to hack yours.
My friggin' Reddit account is suspended again.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is people just reporting you for spam?
Okay.
Every comment that you make spam.
Yeah.
Hey, does anybody spam?
It's usually like someone will post something about the show and it'll be like, LOL sick.
Spam.
Yeah, spam. Report. You shit.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, did you guys know that Mitch Marner is a Hall of Famer and will make $12+ million next year?
Did you?
I did know that.
He's a Hall of Famer already, and he's going to make $12+ million.
I knew
Good for
that because if Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews were playing a game of horse, Mitch Marner would win.
I still disagree with that.
I don't understand.
No, I agree with that.
What's
Trick
hockey
shots?
horse though?
Trick shots and stuff like
It's,
that?
it's okay. The
That's
net
awesome.
is there.
Mitch Marner wins.
Nah, it's
The
awesome.
net is there, full size, no goalie. Make a shot. The other guy has to make.
You're out of your mind if you don't think
Mitch Marner-
My money's on the guy
Every
who
time.
shoots.
No, but dude, we're talking about like crazy hockey tricks,
Yeah.
things you'd never use in a game.
That's all Matthews did. Matthews has been doing that before he played
No,
hockey.
but he doesn't have like the agility that Mitch Marner has to do something ridiculous that he probably wouldn't be able to emulate in a game of horse.
I think Marner is probably a better skater. So if that was involved in the horse somehow,
You can involve whatever you want.
No,
I just think Mitch Marner has
Matthews-
more tricks.
Nah, dangling. Marner is more creative, I would say. So he'd be tough to follow in horse. But I think Matthews would be better at answering. It'd be a great game of horse. I'd watch it.
I'd pay to watch it.
All they got to do though is they got to like shoot off the rafters like Gretzky and Sundin and that old McDonald's ad. That's what they got to do.
I love that, by the way. I love that you remember that.
You see, kids, back in the '90s.
Yeah, YouTube that. I would think that Marner wins that hands down. I think Mitch Marner's been phenomenal. You can get Nylander, Marner, and Matthews, and who can win the game of horse?
Ooh.
Who can do the most Mighty Ducks shit out there that you like not Mighty Ducks, like Mighty Ducks D2.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about? Like knuckle
Interesting.
puck time.
I think they have like a Leafs skills competition that they would maybe do that.
Yeah, but those are boring. It's like who the hardest shot, who can skate the fastest, blah 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 blah. I want to see who can do the craziest, like flip a puck up on their stick and then twirl around like it's lacrosse and then throw it at the top corner and score.
Did you see that Andrei Svechnikov nearly scored the first Michigan goal in NHL history? You know the Michigan goal?
Oh, the
behind the net and you scoop
Man,
the puck up on your
if
stick.
they would just play him, they could score goals.
He's
He's so good.
really, really good. Like, I mean, Brady Tkachuk has been absolutely amazing, and I've already heard a few people talking about, oh, maybe he could have gone second overall. Listen, I'm not disparaging Brady Tkachuk. He's sick. Svechnikov is a monster in waiting, an actual Halloween monster. He's scary, man.
So where did the Hall of Fame Marner stuff come from?
That came from the hockey. No, that came from.
Was it Greg Brady?
That was.
Or was he just
it wasn't Greg. I believe it was somebody on Brady and Price on the fan. I believe it was Doug McLean.
Oh, okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. But then yesterday, also from the Hockey News, we had an article that said that Marner could be worth north of $12+ million. And listen,
No.
I respect that everybody's in love with how Mitch Marner plays, but I really have to just pump the brakes on and remember that he's playing with John Tavares. Like, everybody's acting like, oh, John Tavares gets lucky enough to play with Mitch Marner. Do you think that Mitch Marner's
He is scoring the easiest goal of his life, but yeah.
But do you think that Mitch Marner has the space that he has if he's not playing with John Tavares? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. They work really well together.
This time last year, Marner was struggling. Remember that?
And he was playing with Kadri, was he not?
No, he wasn't even playing. He was on the Bozak JVR line.
Oh, he's been back.
And then he was on the fourth line.
Yeah, and those are two finishers, by the way. JVR,
Right.
Bozak, that's all.
And he was also a sophomore, and there's the sophomore slump, and
Of course.
he's 20 years old, and you can have confidence issues, and all those things. I don't want to take anything away from Mitch Marner, but I definitely think we are getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here.
Well, and also, no, it is fair to say, if he puts up 90-point seasons, which is what he's on pace for or something, if he puts up 90-point seasons for the rest of his career, he'll make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
That's hard to do. Elias Pettersson, right now, on pace
to be a Hall of
for
Fame.
the Hockey Hall of Fame.
That is factually
From
true.
Auston Matthews' first game, shoe-in Hall of Famer.
Brady
Yeah.
Tkachuk in the conversation. Patrick Laine,
Oh, 100%.
easily. But see, the more experience the player has, the less you go, oh, ha, ha. Like Laine, you're like, whoa, yeah, he scored 5 goals. He's got 19 already. The Hall of Fame is a body of work thing. There's certain players like, I don't even know if Pavel Bure should be in.
What?
I'm
You're out of
ready.
your mind.
Look up Pavel Bure stats. Pavel Bure, it's difficult, right? Okay, if you win the Rocket Richard, hardware counts for the Hall of Fame, and he's got hardware, so there's that for sure. Bobby Orr has championships and hardware, so don't even try to use that argument against me. He only played, I think it was 8 seasons, but was the best defender in basically all of them. Mm-hmm. But Bure, like, how many games did that guy play? It's a body of work thing. Isn't
Well, he
it
was
amazing
playing
that Marlowe, if he hits 1,700, or it looks like when he hit 1,700, I thought I saw something, he's going to be the 6th player to ever do it.
Wow.
He played through 6?
Yeah.
Bure's at 702 games played, 437 goals, 342 assists, 779 points.
How many goals in that many games?
437.
Steve,
Yeah, that's freaking astounding.
He had
Never mind.
700.
He had 2 60-goal seasons, did 2 seasons where he missed 60 goals by 2 goals and 1 goal. And that's in the clutch and grab era.
Yeah.
Dude, he was insane.
He was
He just got
absolutely
injured.
insane.
And he won the Rocket Richard Trophy twice. In Florida.
There's a play. Oh my god, we were robbed of that player.
Yeah, that's one of those
We were
guys.
robbed of
I
that.
feel like that with Mario Lemieux, and we got a lot of Mario Lemieux, but I still feel we were robbed.
Lemieux is arguably the best player of all time, but what kills that argument is with Mario Lemieux, we have our imagination. With
Right.
Gretzky, it's just what we saw.
Yeah.
Right? With Bure,
We have imagination. And remember,
Lindros is another guy, Forsberg.
the Canucks were pretty damn good at the beginning of the 90s, and they stunk.
How about this?
Stunk at
How's-
the end, and he was still great.
How's this for a stat? Pavel Bure is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Patrick Marleau has played more games consecutively than Bure ever played. Wow. That is bananas. What is it? 733 consecutive, something like that? He's also played more games consecutively than Tavares has played in his whole career.
Wow.
Yeah. And that includes playoffs, by the way. He's played 182 playoff games.
Here's a goofy stat. In Bure's second year in the NHL, 60 goals, 50 assists. That's goofy. That's ridiculous.
Oh my god, he was so good.
And-
Why did I pick him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Out of the hat.
That's a take.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
okay,
Sorry, folks. I am already sorry.
You moved off it. We don't need it in the comment section. We know.
Yeah, move off it.
But
like Bo Burnham, I am sorry right now. Done. Sorry.
I just find it funny that with listen, I get that Mitch Marner's great, and I think Faisal Kamiza tweeted something perfect last night. Is just, have we forgotten how good William Nylander is? Remember last year, and Ian Tulloch was on the show talking about it. And it's recency bias. We know that it's recency bias. However, it's taken a month. We were talking about Auston Matthews a month ago going, can he do 50 goals in 50 games? We were talking about that a month ago before he separated his shoulder.
Yeah. He still might do it.
Yeah, he still might do it. He can still do it. Yeah. And also then we look at Marner and forget that last year him and Nylander were almost indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Like they are pretty close, man.
What I love so much about Nylander, Matthews, and Marner is they're all disgusting in their own way.
Right, and I don't mean that they're the same player. Before anybody jumps on my back.
In terms of production.
Yes.
Yeah.
They both scored 61 points 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, Nylander's game isn't pretty like Marner's. Everybody's always like, oh, Marner, because it looks nicer.
That's interesting.
It's more highlights.
He's the Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah. I think Nylander's game is prettier than Marner's. I think Marner's is chaotic.
Yeah, no, but Nylander's is pretty from like a hockey perspective. Like he does all the right things. He's a beautiful skater, but Marner is kind of flashy.
Marner
does stuff grabs the eye of the casual.
Now here, this is probably more sacrilegious than saying Marner Hall of Fame.
Sacrilege.
Marner is a little bit like McDavid in that I watch him play and I go, okay, we haven't seen many players.
Hold on? Can we just freeze that moment, everybody? Please retweet the show, but make sure you use the caption, or make sure you just put Marner is a little bit like McDavid, or a lot like McDavid, or whatever it is you just said. Make sure you use that, and make sure you send it to everybody you know in Edmonton.
He's like McDavid, except I'd pick one first and the other fourth, or rather third, unless Dylan Strome is like the next one for Chicago, because here you seem to be struggling. Sorry, let me help you, the Chicago Blackhawks. Anyway. The reason I compare them is I watch McDavid and I go, holy shit, no one does that. Mm-hmm. Like, no one plays the way you do. It's crazy. Marner gets out there and in a different way, like, McDavid just blows past everybody. He's got this alien speed no one's ever had. Marner does stuff, you know how your brain sort of goes, okay, I know what's coming next, like you've watched enough? I never know what's coming next with Marner. And I love it. Yeah. I love it. He does things that no one else has really done before. And that is the only comparable with him and McDavid. It's and their age.
It's always like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. And then he does it. You're like, oh my God, that's insane.
It's almost to Tavares' credit that he's able to bang in so many of those pucks. Like, how does he know it's going to be there? Mm-hmm. How do you know Marner's going to get his own rebound there? Like, it's just, he's a goofy.
William just doesn't do those things. He's just a great hockey player.
And he's
a QB.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback QB. He's a setup guy.
He's so hard to defend because what I've noticed so many times is players will back off of Marner when Marner's got possession because he does this crazy friggin' spin cycle in the offensive zone, and they're just like, shit.
They just kind of let him wrap. Yeah.
They just let him go and they take away all his options. Yeah. But then he'll just shoot it himself, and either it'll go in or they bang it in.
Well, usually it's over the net when Nylander shoots.
Or there's that. Or
it is. Let's be honest.
Well, we haven't seen Nylander shoot this.
He's had a lot of time to practice, so hopefully he's got that shot down.
He should just have his skills good.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's developed a slap shot. The Leafs need that. All they need to be like the dumbest offensive threat in the league is that like Stamkos, Laine, Ovechkin bomb from the face-off.
True.
But anyway, the other thing that teams do is they'll go, okay, we're not going to give Marner room, and they'll try to keep up with him. One, they usually can't. Two, that opens up his options, and he makes that pass anyway between his own friggin' skate blade, and he's so goofy. You know what? Never mind. I changed my mind. Give him 13 more.
Anyway, William Nylander
has signed.
Is not that.
No,
cretins. He hasn't.
Basement-dwelling dick.
Let's check in on Howard Berger. Has he tweeted since the last time we checked in?
I'm gonna go with you.
No, he hasn't.
No? I just keep checking.
Did Howard Berger rumor break himself? Oh, I died and then I am reborn. He's the Jesus of Twitter.
I was happy.
Hey, rumor break passed away. Now his friend is running mid.
Ah, yes.
Rest in peace.
Well, shouldn't he just be rumor break 2? This time with more
Like
faith.
Snowball?
Yeah, Snowball 2. Yeah. Rumor Break 2. This time with more we don't fucking know.
And then remember when Snowball 2 died? And then they were like, we're not going to change the name.
Yeah.
You're Snowball 3, we don't want to get a new bowl. So then it's technically Snowball 3 right now.
Yes, it is.
But it's Snowball 2.
Yeah.
Jesse with the freaking deep Simpsons. You want to know
Very deep.
Simpsons, Family Guy, and you're killer with The Office. It's unbelievable how much you pick up.
I'm not proud of that.
Snowball was the original Kenny. Simpsons did it.
Ah.
Yeah, here's a character who died, but it doesn't matter.
No, that happened. Kenny happened.
That's also all the comic books ever.
No.
Yeah, all comic books ever.
No.
Character died, doesn't matter.
No.
Oh, he's reborn as Super Batman.
He's back.
Super Dark Batman.
If you get all the Dragon Balls, you can bring him back from the dead.
But only 3 times.
But only 3 times. Except this guy, it's cool. Except this guy is back, but he's not back, you see, because he's wearing a halo. Even though he's just definitely here.
And let's check in with the Underworld to extend this plot so you don't have to watch for 5 more episodes for something to actually happen.
We now go back to Namek. That it will blow up in 5 minutes for the last 45 minutes.
Pokemon's the worst with that, by the way. We're just gonna go and walk a little so we can stretch this out for 3 episodes until Ash actually gets to the place where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, when he gets there, it doesn't do anything. They just end up, oh, I'm Ash and I do good. Oh, here's a badge.
Yeah.
From a gym! There's
You know
only
what,
6
kid?
badges and he gets 3 of them for free!
You lost, but you know what? You had guts. And you know that's more important.
He is, Pokemon is NHL culture.
A little bit.
Tries hard,
Ash?
loves the game.
Ash makes $7 million to play on the 3rd line.
For sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Ash Lucic. Here you go.
Ash Backus.
Read to Ash.
Oh my god. Okay, hey, listen, Leafs made a trade yesterday, Andrew Nielsen.
What?
For Morgan Klimchuk. We're talking about a former 3rd round pick for a former 1st round pick. Is there anything to take away from this other than the Leafs had too many people on defense? And of course, listen, I want to throw this out.
Sure.
Everybody called me crazy when I said Timothy Liljegren would stay in Toronto. Guess who was right about that? And then everybody was like, oh no, Rasmus Sandin makes more sense for him to go back. Guess
Boy,
what?
he is being good.
He
though.
sure isn't going back.
I think the plan was for him to go back.
Yeah, well.
And he played his way onto this team.
The key is not that he's really good and he's earned it. It's that I'm right.
You know,
That's what's important here, right? Can we agree on that?
You know what? When you're right, you're absolutely right, and also entitled to be a dickbag. I like it, Adam.
Sore winning be damned.
Respect for being right on that one. That's what I give you. You're wild.
I want that on a hat.
You are
That would be really long. Only my forehead could actually support a word that's long. That's that long. Because my head is that big.
We'll make the coffee is good.
Yes.
Sharpie is good.
Mugs.
We have to do that.
Mugs, ridiculous.
No one is ever going to buy a Re-Adam to
And then we'll make
You're wrong.
No one
Re-Adam.
will ever buy that.
Do you want a Re-Adam 2-packed? Or just...
I want to clap shit bombs like a man shirt.
Oh, dude, that was a line. I had to go back and be like, he actually said that.
I forgot that I screamed by it's probably because I interrupted you to scream, clap shit bombs like a man! You know why I said that? Because the coffee was good.
It sure was. I hear that the coffee leads to that.
Steve Peck.
For
Steve Peck.
We should just have Re-Adam Pecks. We're Steve Pecks. We're just...
Well, because it's like it'll be like with the mugs. Like our family members will buy one for each of us, and then everybody will buy the Jesse version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll only make the
Priest
Re-Adam.
dude,
I have a Jesse
You
mug.
wanted the Jesse mug. I don't have the Jesse mug. Yeah, I have to order it. I still haven't ordered it yet.
My mug sucks. You made it. It's your fault. You sabotaged it.
You know,
So everyone buys the new mug.
Hey,
Hey.
I made your
my mug
best
kinda sucked,
photo. I took your best photo and I put it on a mug.
It should have been the.
That's the one I used.
Oh, is that the one you used?
That's literally the one on the mug. So you go
Thanks, Sandra.
And then the Sonnet Insurance one where he's got the thumbs up. Calvin Pickard is on. Wait, by the way, sorry.
Oh, we never even talked about that trip.
Neil, yeah, we talked about how right I was for sure. That was important. That's
About
in my notes.
something unrelated, yes.
But Andrew Nielsen, Morgan Klimchuk, obviously Sandin's sticking around because he's done great.
Yep.
Andrew Nielsen just didn't seem to have a fit with the team, although he looked really good a couple years ago. It's just that they seem to have just loaded up with more talent.
Well, he was like 70 points in 70 games, something stupid like that in the WHL. comes to the AHL, and he's still a real good producer. So good on the power play. He's got a bomb. And I guess what happened there was at the beginning, we're like, well, he's putting up tons of points. He's weak in his own zone. Well, that's okay. That'll come with time. And then time came. And he seemed to have gotten worse defensively, was still taking way too many penalties. I sort of grilled him in the prospect pyramid for this year, and I said it was his last chance. He was doing the typical hockey things to stay in the lineup. He's like, well,
I'll fight,
and respect to him for doing that, I guess. But if Calgary really makes an effort to have him in their lineup, and what is it, Stockton? Is it the Stockton Heat? If they really make an effort to have him in the lineup every night, if they put him on the power play, he'll be good. He'll be good for them. So really, the Leafs get
just some depth.
I mean, a former first rounder.
He scores at a pretty good clip in the.
He scores at a great clip in the AHL. I mean, they might as well try to score their way out of problems a little bit more if they're going to get goaltending like they've been getting. Klimchuk played an NHL game last year and NHL.
And he grew up in Calgary, which I thought, I'm like, what a shame he only got one game with his team.
Right, yeah. So the Leafs got someone who they might use for someone who they for sure were not going to.
Now, speaking of
and Nielsen, if he does succeed in Calgary, was never going to do it here.
Right. Speaking of goaltending, Calvin Pickard is on waivers as of this afternoon. And everybody's saying that the Leafs could and should make a claim. Now, the way it works is if the Leafs are the only team that makes a claim, apparently they're allowed to send him down.
I think they should make a claim.
Well, for sure. But the thing is that how in the heck would they be the only team? Has he been that bad? I know he was that bad against the Leafs,
yes.
But the Flyers have been that bad.
Oh boy, his numbers are abysmal. I don't know. I don't even know if he's above 800. I'd have to look at his save percentage.
All of Andreas Janssen's goals, by the way.
5-hole.
Yeah.
All 5-hole.
And that's sort of the book on him.
Here's the problem. Yeah, the Guy Boucher book.
Mr. Picard this year is an 863.
Yeah. In how many games?
11.
Oh, that's more
Only
than enough
8
games.
games started.
But still, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Boy.
That's all you need to know.
One shutout.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Apparently Marc-Andre Fleury has 5. I didn't even notice that.
That's amazing.
Stan Narodka on Ice Surfing was saying that last night. The Leafs desperately need a goalie on Marlies. But unfortunately there's some teams in the NHL who need a goalie in the NHL. So we'll see how that goes. I was talking to Elliot Friedman a bit about the Flyers and their search for a goalie. And he sort of mentioned this on Ice Surfing as well, and I think he mentioned it in 31 Thoughts. Who's available? Like, who really is available? Who's available? Who's good?
Well, they said Jimmy Howard, because he's had a bit of a resurgence, good first 20 games.
All right, there's one.
And
there's an expensive option.
Very expensive. Detroit's asking astronomical prices.
And they should.
Sure.
You know why? No one else has anyone.
What's crazy is that a year and a half ago we were talking about how soft the goalie market was, and yet all these teams, most of these teams have still not solved their goalie problem, but it would have been a 3rd or 4th round pick a year ago, and now all of a sudden, now it's a 1st round.
And
it's ridiculous.
Lo and behold, McElhinney pulls another rabbit out of his hat last night against Montreal, 48 saves. What the unbelievable. But I'm trying to think of teams who are 3 goalies deep. Like, legitimately 3 goalies deep. You talk about the Panthers, who have 3 guys signed to an NHL deal. Mm-hmm. They got Michael Hutchison. Well, he's been horrible at the NHL level. So, great at the AHL, proven terrible in the NHL, unfortunately.
So maybe that's just what he is.
So he doesn't count. So then I look at Montreal is interesting because they got Price, Niemi, and they're intentionally keeping Lindgren in the minors. So you maybe make a phone call there. Carolina's got Peter Mrazek sitting around doing nothing. He was already on the Flyers last year and bad. So do you want to, takesies backsies, try it again and actually give up something in order to try it again? That doesn't seem like a great option. You want to give Anthony Stolarz a bit of a shot for a while? Well, choked on that lead last night. It's only 1 game.
I have a suggestion.
What?
Ryan Miller out in Anaheim, who's been playing, he's 38, but he's been playing very well as a backup to John Gibson. In 6 games started, he has a .931.
I just think if I'm Anaheim, I ask for the sun and the moon.
Yeah?
Because, first off, their entire team strength is based on their goaltending. Right? John Gibson's out of the lineup. Who's going to come in and face 45 shots? Because that's basically what they're getting every night.
Ryan Miller's been doing it.
He's been doing it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So if I'm Anaheim, I'm like, yeah.
With a great answer. That's the only problem is I don't know who's behind him.
Jared Coro, I think he's like 25.
Oh, Jared Coro.
Coro, yeah.
He was the goalie the Red Wings used against the Leafs in the Centennial Classic.
Yeah, he's their next goalie in line, I think.
Okay.
So if you want to go, so they would need a backup in return, or
This is the thing.
get another. Yeah, so they're not really 3 deep, but they have an extra goalie who's been playing very well.
Alex Lyon might be okay with back from injury. Shut up. I just now what's funny is I look and I go, well, Stars isn't that bad. Lyon looks like he might be something. Carter Hart is not ready, but he will be down the line if you just wait a bit. It's almost like you should have someone in charge who preaches patience. But the Flyers say nuts to that. And you know how I know it was the wrong move to fire Hextall? Penguins fans are stoked. Penguins fans are like, yes, they're back to the crazy Flyer up.
Do we know when Elliott's supposed to be back?
Oh, Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
I was like, Freeze? No, he's fine. Sorry. Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
My answer is who cares?
But he's still the answer.
Is he?
Yeah, if he comes back and he plays decently, then he's the answer, right?
Well, I mean, since we're on the topic, hopefully Calvin Pickard comes back to the Leafs.
He's the best option, I suppose.
Well, he is their option. He's just injured.
Yeah, but they want to win now. They want to make the playoffs this year.
Well, and
It's
then,
clear,
so
right?
Paul Holmgren just fired another assistant general manager today.
2.
Oh, both went
He
today.
fired 2.
By the way, in Elliott's 13 starts before he got injured, he's a 9-11 with 1 shutout.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right, that's good. The Flyers under Paul, Holmgren was the guy that signed Brizgalov to that ridiculous contract, and Voracek and I think Giroux were also
They're still
signed.
paying him money, by the way. That was a compliance spot.
So, the thing with Holmgren, and this is my favorite quote of the whole thing was, Ron's more of a patient guy and I'm more of an aggressive guy. Well, no fucking kidding.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I saw Mike Darnay tweeting about that, and I'm like, fuck, man, he's right. Like, the Flyers are about to get crazy and I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I want it. I want the Flyers to do something nuts.
It'll be exciting.
Oh, it'll be exciting, but I just think that they're going to screw this up and it's going to be great. Because they're looking like, you put a goaltender in there, an average goaltender. It's like the Jets a few years ago.
They're in the playoffs.
They're not fine. They're great. Put an average. It was like now. Are they as good?
Great.
Well, remember how when the Jets should have never been able to get Patrick Laine. They should have never been that bad.
Yeah.
But their goaltending was so bad that they ended up with Laine.
Montreal's done that a couple times.
And I
They're
honestly,
like, why are you so bad? And then they go out and they were able to get Galchenyuk, who they've now turned into Max Domi. It's had a ripple effect throughout the years.
this is the point. I think the Flyers, somewhat like the Flames earlier this season, that is, are a team they're so good. It's not fair that they got Nolan Patrick. It's not fair that they picked Provorov and Gostisbehere and all these
They
guys.
might get another guy this year.
Yeah.
If they keep it up.
because they can't get a goaltender. And what's interesting is that
one of Philly or Pittsburgh could get Jack Hughes.
that's insane. It's not fair. And how dumb is that? But that's the league, and that's why it's fun. I just can't wait for Philadelphia to go blow all the young guys out for something stupid like Ryan Miller. I understand if you're a team that's really going for it and Ryan Miller is a great backup, or your starting goaltender goes down and you got to cough up a first-round pick to bridge you till your starting goaltender comes back, I get that. But for the Flyers, Ryan Miller has maybe got this year, maybe next year left. And that's it. Now, are you really going to blow future assets, especially when you're probably a bad team and you're probably a lottery team?
Well, and if you think you're going to make the playoffs, Ryan Miller's not the guy you ride.
No!
He's the guy who can maybe get you there, but are you going to win a round? I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
If Ryan Miller's on the market, I would say look at Chicago maybe doing something stupid too. Now,
oh, hell yeah.
Now, Steve,
I'm into it.
You made mention of this a little bit earlier. Blackhawks made a trade, and for the Blackhawks, I really like this trade.
Dude.
What a great trade.
I really like it. I really, really like it. Both teams lost the first game.
Let's run through it. Who was traded?
It was Nick Schmaltz.
And how would you describe Nick Schmaltz, who, by the way, restricted free agent at the end of the season, and that's key.
Restricted free agent at the end of the season is how I would describe him, according to Adam Wild. But also up-and-coming center who it sounds like the Blackhawks were not excited to give up at all. Former first-round pick, I believe. And then in return, they get 2 former first-round picks, Brendan Perlini, who admittedly I don't know much about. I believe he's big, played for the Niagara Ice Dogs. And Dylan Strome, who hasn't been great at the NHL level, but is killing it, especially for his age, in terms of AHL production. He strikes me as exactly the kind of guy you don't trade lest you look silly. Like, what are the odds? Like, even if Arizona wins this trade, I don't think they look like geniuses. Like, they would have to absolutely... Like, Schmaltz would have to be a star, and both Strome and Perlini never play. You know what I mean? Whereas Strome, like, that guy has star potential. He could be really, really good.
But is he going to be?
Great question.
Schmaltz is a guy... I mean, from Arizona's perspective, Schmaltz is a guy that you know what he is now. Or you know what he's going to be. Strome, it's like... I mean, he could be nothing. He could be nothing. What has he proven at the NHL level?
Yeah, but he's as old as Marner. And I think the pressure, like, dude, what a horrible class to be compared to.
Yeah.
2015 was great.
Good year.
McDavid, Eichel, those are the only 2 guys picked above Strome, by the way. Then Marner, Rantanen's in that conversation. Hannafin's in that conversation. Werenski is in that conversation. Aho was a later pick. It's ridiculous. It's a murderer's row. But if you, I think, compare Strome to any other, what is he, 21? If you compare him to any other 21-year-old, he's still on pace, like his trajectory, looking at his AHL production, his trajectory is still to be a very good player.
Yep. Okay.
My immediate instinct was this is a really unnecessary risk for Arizona.
Well, they've done a few of those, but it'll be interesting.
Could be good.
For sure, and I think it strengthens them now. I have to think that Arizona's ownership has got to be looking at John Chayka going, okay, results this season or it's over, because really he's had enough time. Yeah. He's drafted well.
Money issue
for sure. They need to make the playoffs, but also like let's just be straight here. John Chayka has had 4 seasons? This is his 4th year.
He's been there a while, yeah.
I think it's time. It's time. And where they sit right now is out of a playoff spot. They're 10-11.
It's also interesting that it's such a huge trade between. Oh wait, no, they're not in the same division.
No.
Sorry, you're showing me the wild card standings. I'm like, wait a sec, Arizona and Chicago are not the same.
No.
Okay.
They also have lost 4 of their last 5. So that's, they're probably just in a spot where, man, I don't know what it is with Arizona. They have the talent. I keep betting on them, and I keep hating myself for doing it.
You can play well and lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been watching them that closely. I know Montreal did that last night. Mm-hmm. They played extremely well and lost.
I think it'll be interesting to see
with Shea Weber.
If Stan Bowman, it's like the Donald Trump tweet. It's like, I'd like to see old Donnie Trump wiggle his way out of this one.
Well, nevertheless,
this is the most Stan Bowman thing to happen. As you said, the Hawks, you're in trouble. Let us help you. And they actually do help.
The Coyotes and Blackhawks are each other's farm team, too.
They can trade with other people.
Yeah, and then their ECHL team is their AHL team. And then their ECHL team is like their SPHL.
You don't even go that deep with the joke.
No, I'm going that deep.
Okay, all right.
I'm just beating it to death.
It was funny originally. You didn't have to go with the E and the A. Steve just dropped his mic. He
dropped it. Out of rage, though, not because I was done.
In the land of former Toronto Maple Leafs, Jeff O'Neill yesterday had a take. We're going to start with Jeff's tweet, and then we're going to sort of work our way backwards like a a movie.
Like Memento? Is that what it was?
What's the movie?
No, Mentos.
Mentos. Yeah. Go fresh and full of life. Jeff O'Neill says this: Make sure if you speak about hazing, you have a squeaky clean track record with your teammates.
In reference to.
Yeah. Now, at face value, you go. Okay.
Right.
I guess if you're gonna. If you strip it down to its bare bones, if you're going to call people out for doing bad things, maybe don't do bad things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little bit deeper than that, isn't it?
Right, yeah. So this goes back to Dan Carcillo.
Yes.
And Dan Carcillo, who I think has been doing a great job kind of speaking out about the things that have happened in hockey. And he talked a little bit about hazing.
Yeah, not just hazing, head injuries and depression. And
Yeah, and I think everybody sort of catches it. But he did talk about recently hazing in the minors. And
In the
do you
OHL.
have the tweets there? Are you looking for them?
No, sorry, I was looking for something else. Yes, he was talking about, I believe it was his... Oh, shoot. Sorry, Adam, you got me on the spot there.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't look it up. Jesse, can you look that up, please?
What would you like me to look
His Dan Carcillo's, it was a 12-tweet thread from a few days ago. Sorry, I was looking up something
It was
else.
12 tweets, eh?
Yeah, it was a 12-tweet thread talking about basically
Here we go, got it.
hazing that happened to him. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He said, Bullying Awareness Week. The year is 2002-2003. I am 17, turning 18 years old, and it is my NHL draft year. I moved away from home, family, and friends to play for the Sarnia Sting. Endured daily bullying and abuse at the hands of the veteran players. Below is my story. So I'm going to read a few of these. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it yourself, but you're going to get the idea here. He said, moving away from everyone you've ever known is hard. Living with strangers is strange. Going to new high school isn't easy. Daily practices, workout, long travel times are grueling. And playing against 21-year-olds when you're 17 is intimidating. Having your teammates beat you on a daily basis with sawed-off paddles of a goaltender's hockey stick, takes both physical and mental toll on a teenager. I remember being so confused at the beginning of the year. I remember thinking to myself, if this is part of the process, just shut your mouth and bide your time. Another thought came to my mind, which is often, why are my teammates demeaning the youngest players on the team? Do they think this will create team unity? Now, he goes on to talk about how he was stuffed with a bunch of his younger teammates into the back of a bus bathroom.
The hot box.
And then eventually he said, enough of this, and he went out and started swinging, I guess.
And I'm sure there's some people in hockey, well, see, it brought out the bear in them. Brought out the tiger. Came out and see it toughened him up.
Now,
and I think that's where some people...
He said
Sorry.
Well, and this is where it gets interesting, because
Yes.
towards the end he says we finished first place in the OHL, but we made a first round exit in the playoffs, losing to the Gulf Storm. Remember what I said about the horse? You guessed it. All of the rookies quit on the veterans, which was a conscious decision. Wow. That's interesting. I can remember the talk an overager gave a desperate plea after the first period. And this is in Game 4, so they were going to be swept. And he was crying.
Holy sh...
It didn't matter. He said, many of us were broken now, damaged not only from the game, but from the constant bullying and physical and mental abuse. Emotional lacerations are not easy to stitch up. And because of that first round exit, and the year I was invited to play for Team Canada at the under-18s. Tournament was packed with scouts. We won the gold medal. I ended up being drafted 73rd overall to the Penguins in the draft. But interesting that he says they consciously quit.
Yeah, and then I think there's the next tweet where he goes, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, he said, don't discredit times of suffering. Through pain, both physical and emotional, I have discovered who I am. If you're experiencing bullying and abuse, confide in someone you trust, #mental.
Yeah, so there was the everything happens for a reason part confused me, and I think it confused a few other people. What I thought about it and what I took from it was basically it ended up being a blessing in disguise that they got out of the playoffs so fast, because then he got that great opportunity with Team Canada, and it helped get him noticed, and it helped lead to the rest of his NHL career. Now, and then Sean Mathias jumped in on there, and he was talking about...
I've got it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Jeez,
yeah, sorry.
we're on it.
So Sean Mathias... Oh,
You did.
I pulled a Jesse. He talks about the fact that... and he said this, I would not like to speak publicly about what went on in my life. Instead, I would like to see a solution. These young athletes should be leaders in their community, not running around the world with hate in their heart. And then went on to say, at Jeff O'Neill's tweet, which he retweeted, with comment and said, like I said in a prior tweet, the players before myself went through many of the same things. So Sean Mathias admitted, by the way, and I should say this.
He was part of the bullying.
He admitted he was part of the problem. He did it.
Well, and this is Sean Mathias, a 30-year-old, reflecting on the errors of an 18-year-old or whatever.
Exactly. And
right? He's a grown man now.
And he clearly feels remorse.
Yeah, which is fair. And he said, like I said in the prior tweet, I went through many of the same things. It happens to you, and you get angry and confused, and you want to see the next rookie get it. Because I went through it, the next guy's got to go through it. And this is how it becomes more extreme. I'm sure that initial hazing ceremonies in the 60s and 70s were like, hey, you got to take the veterans out for dinner. And then they eventually, if every year, it becomes a little step harder.
Remember the Bobby Bonds story?
What was that one?
So I read his book, and I guess not enough people have read that book because it's bananas. Some of the stories he has in it. But one of them is basically Bond and I want to say Tim Horton and a few others. They were part of
The coffee?
Yeah, Tim Horton, the strongest man in the NHL, if only he was mean. They were part of a very young Leafs team in the early 60s. And because so many of them were rookies, not all of them got the proper hazing or whatever. But about like 4 years into Tim Horton's career, this isn't lowering the boom, by the way, this is in Bobby Bond's book, I swear to God. Basically, they decided, you know what? Tim never got the proper rookie welcoming, so we're going to do it now. So they got 4 or 5 of them because Tim was so strong. They got 4 or 5 guys. They held him down. Parents, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Too late. They shaved his pubic hair and then threw like Tiger Balm on him.
Oh.
And they said, he was walking funny for a few days. LMAO. Like, it's crazy what used to go on. But then it, I guess, evolved to other things, and the hot box, I don't know when that became a thing.
With all that stuff, it's like you catch more bees with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah.
You get your teammates to believe in you and respect you, or if you're a boss, you get them to believe and respect you if they like you.
Yes.
And you do things that are good.
Well,
I bully them.
I thought the way that Mike Babcock got players to get to play the best for him was rub D cold all over the balls. I thought that's what he did. I thought he made them dip their balls.
Who thinks of that?
Like, you know what I mean? This is you understand how insane that is, right?
Yes.
For me to say that.
Yeah.
The reason I said that is not because Mike Babcock does that. He finds other ways
Yes.
to motivate his players because there are other ways at the NHL level.
So what Jeff O'Neill was basically saying, or what I think he was alluding to,
Which a lot of people say in a lot of situations, by the way, which is an incorrect argument.
What is that?
In its basis, which is if you did it, you can't speak about it. You can't say it was wrong if you did it.
Right. And that is the absolute wrong way to look at it. I think.
And I'm going to repeat his
screen cap?
Let me repeat his tweet.
Sure.
Make sure you can speak about hazing, or make sure if you speak about hazing, you have a squeaky clean track record with your teammates.
Right, and
That's like saying that. Like there are people who have. This is a very extreme example. But
murderers can't tell other people they can't murder.
Yeah, or people who were formerly in neo-Nazi organizations who are now working with groups to try to get people out of those organizations,
Right.
saying, "Oh well, you can't do that
Well,
because
see
you
it all
can't
the time.
reform ever."
Like I was in a gang, and here's why
Yeah.
you shouldn't be in a gang, and stuff like that.
Like this is it's just I took logic and reason in university. I stunk at it because it's really hard. That is an illogical argument that people use all the time.
Well, so here's what Dan Robson said, formerly of Sportsnet, now I think at The Athletic. With respect, Jeff, do you think this mentality might be missing the point? Is the culture of bullying and hazing not cyclical? There has to be more to the conversation than suggesting a victim not speak about what they went through if they, in turn, victimized others. Now, a little bit more context to this. Dan Carcillo is about a decade younger than Jeff O'Neill. I almost said Jeff Mayer. He's about a decade younger than Jeff O'Neill, but they're both from King City, Ontario.
So they know each other.
Well, if they don't know each other, they have mutual acquaintances, and
Come on, they're NHLers.
there must be stories that they know. Mm-hmm. So that's where I think. That's where I assume this is coming from. It's interesting that Matthias said that he doesn't want to talk about it because I reached out to him and he said he would come on the show. He's going to be.
Maybe we'll have him in the next couple episodes if we can. We'd love to.
It might be a little further down the line.
Okay, cool.
But
Nick Boynton also said, "Hey, thanks, Tips. You're joking, right? They pay you for this?" Nick Boynton, former.
Oh,
NHL.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
He
that.
also sounds off on Twitter a lot.
Nick Boynton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But he's a guy that stands with, and he says it in his thing. He's right in his bio. He says, "I'm standing with Dan Carcillo." He's also had traumatic brain injuries, and so I think, man, listen, we're all entitled to bad takes. We're all entitled to bad takes.
Dude, I'm
not going to nail.
A lot.
Yeah, and I'm not
going to. I want to fist fight my former self.
I'm not going to nail.
6-month basis.
Oh yeah, I've said some ridiculous stuff on this show that I would never say again, or that I don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
It's called growth. But I just hope that when Jeff O'Neill looks back on this, I hope he changes his mind. I hope that was an emotional, in-the-moment thing, because, quite frankly, it's the wrong way to look at it. It doesn't solve the problem. And at the end of the day, anybody that tells me that, oh, you should have to go through hazing, there's enough going on. You're leaving. First off, I hate the CHL system, because they don't get paid, they don't go to school, they don't have to, and then they're moving out of their parents' homes at an age when they're super impressionable, it's just a terrible system. It's a terrible system. I'll just straight up say it. I love the hockey. It's amazing, and the development on the hockey side is great. But everything else
gotten better. I've also heard that that's a bit over exaggerated and a joke.
Come on. And I just think that it's a shame that I think the hockey development, that league is phenomenal. It's so well run. And it's hilarious that they've been able to get away with not paying the players. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And what our premier said about it is a joke. He said that those players shouldn't be paid because they lost that lawsuit, and I guess Doug Ford came out and said, yeah, no, I agree, it shouldn't be paid. These are franchises that are worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
This is insane. And I think that the system around this worked once. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think it's applicable in today's day and age. I don't think hazing is applicable in today's day and age. And the thing is like, well, I went through it. How come you can't go through it? Toughen up. The point is, it's not about being tough. It's not about being mentally strong. I don't think going through that makes you mentally stronger. I think there's absolutely no reason why anybody in that situation who's already going through enough hardship, leaving home and having to play hockey in a new city and having to go through a new high school and all those things, I think that's enough, man.
You have any of that stupid nonsense when you were young?
Hazing? No, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough.
It's only at the higher level?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was a single A hockey player, man. I stunk. And I was a bad single A hockey player. So I think, if my dad and my buddy Alex's dad, we played together most of our lives.
And he was the coach.
If he'd ever seen anything like that, we would be, in House League, two of the best players on the team and two of the best players in the league. If we ever did anything like that, our dads would have fucking killed us. And I can tell you that if I was ever good enough to be in that and my parents found out about it, they would have lost their minds. Because it's not a reasonable thing. And I think what Sean Mathias also mentioned here, and we've got to get to this, is that he's like, I don't even blame the players. It's the coaches that let it go on.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
These kids are pre-20.
That's what my wife was
You're insane pre-20.
Well, yes, but also this happened on a bus.
Yeah,
right.
The coach knows, man.
Yeah, it's always amazing when you open a Pandora's box of hockey stories for the first time. So, Mrs. Dangle loves hockey now. She's really into it, but you don't realize how many layers of hockey history there are to peel away. And she reads this on Twitter and she goes, "Oh my God, that goes on? What the hell's wrong with them?" And I go, "That's not even the worst of it." "What are you talking about?" I go, "Look up Steve Downey, Akeem Alou."
Oh my God.
Oh my God, right?
Look up Steve Downey anything.
Well, and there's that.
That guy's wow.
Yeah. That was insane. So Akeem Alou, this is the extreme...
Akeem got traded.
Yeah, this is the extreme Coles Notes version, but basically he refused to take part in rookie hazing. Steve Downey got off the bench at practice and fought him. A 16-year-old! And again, a lot of this was early 2000s. Mm-hmm. I'd like to imagine it's gotten better.
I think it has. I think there's lawsuits now you could never afford.
Or it's at least more seldom.
Yeah. And listen, you can come out and call me a snowflake. I think any of these guys that are playing in these leagues, if you're 16, you're 17 years old, and you're going up against a 21-year-old, you're going up against men. You're a boy going up against men. That's enough, man. That's enough. It's hard enough. Who cares about... This is such crap about hazing in any way. I understand team bonding. Go to Niagara Falls then. Go to Niagara Falls and hang out as a team. Go play some Fortnite together, unless you're the Canucks. But Do not tell me that physically hurting somebody is making you come closer together. That's bullshit.
And there is
literally nothing that you can say that could hold up in any sort of logic and reason perspective. There just isn't. Sorry.
There's a decent argument that you should maybe even separate the age groups in the
Sure,
OHL.
why not? But I just don't think you can make any money that way. And these teams do have to make money, so I get that.
It'd be difficult, but man, having a 16-year-old on the ice with a 20-year-old, it's a different ballgame, man. If you don't believe
But you could argue having an 18-year-old.
Ben Finelli, and look at Mike Liambus.
Well, but SDA in the Leaf system handles it all right.
Yeah.
And he is teeny tiny.
Yeah, because players like Mike Liambus aren't in the OHL anymore. They're playing pro, but they're not in the OHL
Mitch
anymore.
Marner and Jumbo Joe. Like, it's the same
I guess
thing,
you do.
right?
Yeah, I guess you do.
Jumbo Joe on his original knees,
Yes.
which he still wasn't very.
But now that he's not on those, you can't fight him.
Yeah. Even when he asks you,
Even when he has like 6 inches on you.
respect him.
Yeah, Richard Patch. Rich 12 Patch. Joe Thornton. Jumbo. We're Jumbo Patch.
So how insane are the Sabres right now?
Oh my goodness.
10 games in a
Okay,
row. It's amazing.
so-
Under the radar, except for in Buffalo.
Jeff Skinner to the Sabres for nothing off of their active roster is the trade of the summer bar none. Trade of the summer bar none.
Carlson was tricked.
Yeah,
Trade of the summer.
and he's not had the same impact Jeff Skinner has. Jeff Skinner has.
Wow! Can you imagine saying that a couple months ago? My instinct was to contort when you said that, but it's absolutely true.
Jeff Skinner had 24 goals last year. He played 82 games. This year, he's got 19 and 25. Come on.
Guy might win the Rocket
Has to.
in a contract year. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And this is
We
a guy.
wish- Oh my gosh.
This is a guy in 604 games, has 223 goals. He has a goal every 3 games in his career.
Jeff Skinner, who still looks like a child, has played 604 games.
Yeah, I know. Morgan Riley's already up over 400. It's crazy. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like,
I interviewed him at a World Junior Camp.
we talked about it in the summertime. I could not understand why a team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who cannot score goals, would give him up for nothing and also just dunk his value right in the toilet. We don't like him, bad character. They never actually came out and said it, but it was always like, oh, you know, Jeff, we got to get rid of Jeff Skinner. He's a problem. It's a mentality issue, and Jeff Skinner is the guy that takes the hit on that, and was
10
Elias
straight
Lindholm.
games. 10 straight games.
Come
And he
on.
got the OT winner on the 10th.
Do you remember when the trade happened and EA Sports tweeted?
What do they say?
No.
And they wrote, when you have the trade difficulty set to easy. And they tweeted a picture of Jeff Skinner.
Well done,
I
EA
remember that
Sports.
happened. I was like, that's kind of true.
Now, if I remember
100%.
correctly,
Really?
a second, a third, a sixth, and Cliff Poo.
And a couple of those were like several years from now.
Man, they better
Like
be good
2020s,
picks.
I think. Yeah.
Man, you didn't want to spend money on Jeff Skinner. I hope you invested in the scouting staff. Because you are going to need it. That is a and Carolina I don't even think is doing that bad.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not.
I think the main difference between Carolina and Philly is Carolina's waiver wire pickup has worked out.
Yep. Yep.
but-
They have a goalie that's playing goalie, but they
They're
are
a better team, but
they are tied with
I know.
Montreal for that last wild card spot. The only difference is Montreal's played an extra game. 27 points, man. I mean, they're 12-9. They're not setting the world on fire. And I got to tell you, listen, did anybody think? First off, I think in Bill Peters' system, Jeff Skinner, even though he still scored 24 goals and this season before 37, I think in Bill Peters' system, it just wasn't for him. But I also would look at a guy like him and go, okay, in his first season, he had 31 goals. He scored every single year, and every time he's healthy, he scores up around 30 goals.
right, it's the concussion issues, right?
When he is healthy, like when he plays a full 70, 80
He's going to hit
games.
30 in his sleep this year.
This is, yeah, and do I think this pace is sustainable? No, but I'd sure like it to be. They're fun as hell. The Sabres are so fun to watch.
Oh my God, they're so. You know what's a sleeping giant in the NHL, particularly the Atlantic right now, is, everyone talks about Toronto, Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, Buffalo. Oh, they haven't. We're past the quarter mark. They haven't played each other yet. They're going to play 6 times between now and the end of the season,
Wow.
and there's a really good chance
They'll hate each other?
they'll hate each other and play each other in the first round.
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh my God, can you imagine?
I mean, Tampa...
The Tim Horton series.
Tampa would have to finish first. I like that. The Tim Horton series, the QEW series, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be mean. It's going to be vicious. You thought San Jose hated Nazem Kadri. Him and Rasmus Ristolainen, oil and water.
Yep.
Tampa would have to finish first. What's the division right now? So the division is Buffalo, Tampa, Toronto.
Yeah, and they've all played 25 games, 36 points, 35 points, 34 points. Auston Matthews points.
So there you go. 1 point
separates.
Could be the difference between a Buffalo-Toronto series and man, right now the Leafs' options appear to be facing Buffalo in the first round or facing Tampa in the first round.
Jesus. Boston or Tampa.
That's awful!
Every year.
But, hey, Stanley Cup is hard to win.
Let's not count
Did you know that?
Let's not count out Boston, though. I'd love to see another Boston-Tampa series.
So there are 3 options then.
Well, here's the thing.
Are Tampa, Buffalo, Montreal.
You want Toronto,
Boston.
You want Toronto to win the division, of course, because whoever wins the Atlantic Division is winning the conference this year. That's how it looks right now.
That's not how that's going.
Well, yeah, because Washington's got 31 points.
So wait a sec. If you win
the Atlantic, as it stands right now...
So if you're top in the Atlantic right
top
now,
in the East.
you play Carolina, but you're only 3 points removed from having to play Boston anyway?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And honestly, I know the Leafs beat Boston last week and that felt good, but let's not pretend that Bergeron was in the lineup.
Imagine
Matthews wasn't in the lineup either.
What if the Leafs finish first in the East and have to play Boston anyway?
Fuck, man. Honestly,
that'd be so bad.
Boston, I still feel like right now they're a boogeyman. They're not a better team necessarily, but they have the Leafs number right now.
Yeah, and I mean missing Bergeron's pretty bad. The Leafs are missing a few
Matthews.
good players too.
Yeah, come on.
But and Chara, I don't think played the other day.
No.
Yeah, so
anyway.
Wow, I'm just saying, sleeping monster in the NHL.
Sabres.
Leafs-Sabres rivalry.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Dude, they've got to play 6 more times. 6 more times. They have to play all their games.
What was the last playoff series? 2000...
Against the Sabres?
No, before that.
99.
90.
I think it was 99.
No.
Yeah, I think it was 99.
Oh, and look at this. What a shock. The Islanders have cooled off.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, they're now sitting in... They're...
Oh, when did that happen? They're out of the playoff spot.
Yeah. Like,
not by much.
Oh, come on. Like, we couldn't see that coming.
Well,
like, they had 26 points. If they wanted to get in the top 3 of their division, they'd have to have an extra win. I get that. But come on. Everybody's acting like, wow, look at the Islanders. Whoa.
Well, I mean, they were performing a lot better.
Outperforming. We all knew what the Islanders were. Come on.
And we didn't let them off the hook.
That's right.
And then look at some of the teams they're ahead of.
Philly is dead last.
I don't think that's going to stay. There's so many teams at the bottom of the East, I can't believe it. Like Pittsburgh even being out of the playoffs.
How is Florida back?
Florida, the goalie. It'll kill you. Every starting goalie in the NHL should make $10 million. Like, for real though.
Yeah.
They're your most valuable player.
Yeah.
What really separates the good and the great teams, the good from the mediocre?
You know what I can't wait for?
Goaltending.
We're in the 3rd year of Freddie's deal. Next year we get to start talking, his deal's almost up. And the season after that, extension! We're never going to resign him.
By the way, $5 million.
What?
That's what Freddie makes.
Yeah, I know.
That's
amazing.
a good deal.
Remember we were like, they gave up a 1st-round pick for him. That's a lot of money for him.
I mean, the
At the
Leafs
time.
did do the same thing they've done 3 straight times.
But
it worked this time.
This risk
3rd
worked.
time's a charm, Freddie Anderson. Get a backup goalie from a California team.
Yeah.
Woo! And it worked.
The Canucks.
By the way, the Ducks did have to make that move because Freddie and John Gibson, I believe, combined make $13.25 million now.
That's only $3 million more than Carey Price makes.
For the next day.
So I would actually take that. I would take that.
They're separated by 1
I would only dress 4 defensemen, and I would take that if those are your goalies. Especially, and I'd also get rid of Randy. Randy's system is dead. Randy's system doesn't work. Randy Carlyle is lucky he's got a good goalie this year because Anaheim should be in last fucking place. I'm sorry. With the injuries they have, if John Gibson was not an MVP candidate, and don't tell me he's not, Randy Carlyle will be on his ass.
Yeah, I still think they're the worst.
I don't want a guy to lose a job, but come on, man. Learn something. Migrate your system.
They're a little bit of health, and I would say a coach away from being in the playoff conversation.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, the Kings and Canucks did not shoot the lights out because, yikes. Of course, because the Kings will never shoot the lights out. But they did do something yesterday that I think, this deserves a shout out. So Canucks for Kids did a 50-50 raffle. The jackpot was $1.41360 million. The take-home prize, $706,000 in one game. That's amazing. Now, half of that goes to charity,
Western
obviously.
Canada, man, they love
their
a 50-50 draw.
I remember, I think I've said this before, but I was at a Calgary Flames game, just like the third or fourth game into the year. 50-50 is $150,000.
Saskatchewan, during the 2010 World Juniors, there's something about the second you hit the Ontario border.
Yeah.
And West,
And it's like,
they love it.
It's $10,000 at the league game. Everybody's rich anyway. Who needs it?
I never even thought of it that way.
I mean, $10,000. That won't even get me a season ticket.
Hockey's doing a great job fundraising now, man.
Pretty cool.
The Eastern Seals thing I was blown away with. We raised almost $500,000 for that. Hockey Night in Canada, the Hockey Fights Cancer jackets.
So
Don Cherry's, the last time I checked, was going for $12,000.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Ron's was over 8. Dave Hodges was only over 4, and I pointed that out on Ice Serving. I thought it should be higher, and I think the reason it wasn't is because he was the only jacket on page 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And Sportsnet Winnipeg reporter Sean Reynolds, his jacket should be going for way more because after the game, he got it autographed by Patrick Laine,
Oh, wow.
who had just scored 5 goals that night. So you can get one of a dozen Hockey Night in Canada baby blue jackets out there, and signed by Patrick Laine when he scored 5 goals.
If you are not a Canadian or a resident of Buffalo, you probably don't understand, or of a certain age too, because it predates us. It predates our lives.
Oh,
But
I didn't know why it was a big deal.
Dave Hodge was the original Ron McLean, and when before the pen flip, which you can see on YouTube, he was the king. And when he was let go, people actually thought that people would stop watching Hockey Night in Canada because Dave Hodge wasn't there.
Oh, Ron came into a terrible environment.
Oh,
he was
brutal.
26 and was replacing.
Oh, weather guy from Red Deer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hodge
Yeah,
was
sure.
as big as the game itself that
He was
night.
that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It was great to see them on the desk together. That interview, I think I would encourage you to look up. Just
Really cool.
I mean, I have no sentimentality to Dave Hodge. I've only ever known him as the guy who hosted the reporters on TSN, which was I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I was probably in university when I learned Dave Hodge worked for CBC.
100%, and that's unfortunate because we really don't celebrate our own in this country. Like I look at the way Brits celebrate their musicians, their broadcasters, their actors, and whatever, their arts community. Huge. The Americans obviously great at it. Canadians suck. But the reason for that is that we're next to the Americans. We're very flippant about our own. Like, yeah, whatever. Let's move on. But I think we got to take a second and just go like, this is a guy that accomplished and created great things, and gets almost no credit for it now. And I think it was awesome to see them honor that history.
I wonder if Dave Hodge is like a little bit of an example of like why guys don't retire. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like because he sort of went away, like in a lot of people's sort of minds, and like he was sort of out of thought or whatever. And then you get guys, Don Cherry, Bob Cole, they work into their 80s.
Yeah.
And I think is Bob Cole 90? I think he's 89.
Yeah, he's old. Well, he's old, obviously.
Yeah, they love the work.
85. 1933. June 24th, Bob Cole.
He was born during the Depression. Like, that's
85 years young.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. He was born during the Harry Potter prequels.
It's true.
That's the world he was born into. There was a story I was hearing. I asked Pat Burns if he wanted to win the game tonight, and he said yes. It's apparently a famous Bob Cole quote.
That is very funny. I want to move on to.
Jeff Merrick.
Can I just mention something since you brought up the Kings?
Sure.
I saw.
I'm going to bring up the Kings.
Oh, are you?
That's my next thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So David Pagnotta has a few good tweets on this. But from 2 days ago, Kovalchuk played 6 minutes and 20 seconds tonight. Asked if it was a coaching decision. Kings coach Desjardins says, "Yep."
Says yes.
And then.
Did you not want to play him a lot? He said no.
The fact that Ilya Kovalchuk is only playing 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and I tweeted about this, I think and I understand that he hasn't been particularly great.
This is not the guy.
But if this is... Are you really going to make an example of a guy you just signed to a 3-year contract?
Yes.
And this is the thing. He wants him to play a strong defensive game.
Nope.
He doesn't.
Disagree.
That is not what
I don't think that's what's going on here at all.
What do you think's going on here?
They're trying to get rid of him. Buyer's remorse. They're trying to get rid of him.
They're trying to get him to retire again.
If he retires, I think he might be a 35-plus
They
contract.
cannot trade him.
I think that's what they're trying to
Last
do.
night.
He had suitors.
Last night after the first period, 2 minutes and 39 seconds in the first. Second lowest among LA forwards.
He had suitors.
In the second period, 7 minutes and 28 seconds total. That's not in just... After three periods.
Okay.
After 3 periods, it was tied 1-1. Canucks and Kings. Kovalchuk's time on ice, and this is all David Pagnotta, by the way, at the fourth period. 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Nate Thompson, 17 minutes and 5 seconds.
This is not the guy. This is not the guy. How amazing is it? How ridiculous is it that after... Like, when was it rumored that he was trying to leave New Jersey and go to, like, one of 3 teams? And one of those teams was LA. And now he's finally there, and it's November, and it's a nightmare. It's a match made in the darkest depths of hell.
David Pagnotta goes on to say, Desjardins made it clear Sunday that Kovalchuk's ice time was a coaching decision. He's told that it's indeed the case. Management isn't influencing Kovalchuk's time on ice, but after 2 games in a row, I'm sure there are questions. Next tweet, Kovalchuk has now played less than 10 minutes per game on the 4th line for 2 straight games. Source close to the Kings said one way or another, it won't last long. Next 1 to 2 games could dictate a lot. So that'll be interesting to see.
Jerry D has a bit about his old Italian neighbor, and I think it relates to what you said. It's not a management decision. So what Jerry D's old Italian neighbor used to do, because there was this raccoon who always walked on his lawn, on his driveway, and he hated it. And he would have a broom in his hand to hit the raccoon. And he would say, "Come here, nice raccoon. I don't have anything behind my back. It's not a management decision." Yes, it is. They're trying to get rid of him. That's what I think. Boston?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense that Boston would jump in there. Do they have the cap room?
Well, they wanted him.
And here's the thing, too. I mean, so did San Jose. But, I mean, and maybe San Jose makes sense, too. What can the Kings stand to gain? Like, I guess the only thing they want is the cap relief.
Well, they need it. They got rid of Tanner Pearson for the cap.
Because they can't get anything for him if they're playing 2 minutes a period. They can't.
But you also got him for free, so like anything you get for him, I guess you look at it as a victory.
Like, okay.
In some way, at least he got something.
I guess, okay. It just seems ass backwards. The Kings management fired their coach, who, by the way, turned Dustin Brown back into a hockey player.
Yep.
After a season.
Yep.
Made that contract not a noose for them. Mm-hmm. I find it extremely interesting that a management team that has done almost nothing to improve this team after 20 games gives up on the 1 addition they made. I find that really funny. And that they blamed John Stevens and fired him because he took it for the team's failures while they still have done nothing. They've done nothing.
There's a lot of... I think we've gone through a long period of parity in the NHL. I wonder if we're nearing the dawn of haves and have-nots.
Like the super teams again?
A little bit, because we had around the McDavid draft and Matthews draft as well, there was a lot of talk of tanking. All the teams in the basement, like here, go to the league standings and look at the basement. There are not a lot of teams trying to tank. There are a bunch of teams who thought they were good to the point where they loaded up this past summer.
I'll give you the bottom 3.
They stink.
I'll give you the bottom 3 from East and West right now.
Yeah.
Florida, New Jersey, Philly. So Florida third last, New Jersey second last, Philadelphia last.
Florida thought they were better. New Jersey is at very least still young.
And we're
Philly
a playoff
thought
team.
they were better. And they were a playoff team.
All 3 of those teams expected to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
Arizona, St. Louis, Los Angeles.
Arizona, I mean, they're working on it. St. Louis.
Evergreen statement.
I know, yeah. Arizona, we're working on it. St. Louis, I thought, was a cup contender. And
100%.
The Kings?
Yeah.
They thought, oh my God.
And special mention to the Blackhawks, who are just above Arizona.
And the Kings have had trouble in net, at least in terms of health.
Mm-hmm.
Goaltending has not been the problem there. Goaltending has been the problem for most of the teams in the basement. The LA Kings are bad.
And they can't score.
And they cannot.
But it's a mentality thing. We're going to hire Adam Oates for a month, and that'll change everything. Come on.
They goofed.
And they also, I mean, I said when Willie Desjardins got hired there, I was like, I kind of feel bad for him because he took over the shitty Canucks after they were good, and now he's taking over the shitty Kings after they were good. Both teams have the same issue. They're hanging on to guys too long. They got a bunch of bad contracts, and they got a bunch of old players, and poor Willie's holding on to them like this. Now, if it is Willie Desjardins' thought that keeping Ilya Kovalchuk off the ice is going to do him any favors, then he's wrong. If it's Rob Blake and Luc Robitaille on the down low saying, Willie, listen, we need to get him out of here, and he's doing their bidding.
All that old school shit, like, wow, I'm going to sit our star player.
I don't think so.
that works anymore, man. I don't think it works. I don't think you're going to come out on top of this one. But
I just think I think that if he's on the same page as management and that's what they want, that makes sense. If he's going rogue, Joel Quenneville is going to get a phone call pretty soon. LA's got the money to sit two coaches. What do they care?
Wherever he wants. What if he goes to Philly?
Be a good pickup for them. But they haven't. The interesting thing with Philly, and I guess we didn't focus enough on it. Interesting thing with Philly is that they haven't fired Hextall.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. They fired all management, and not all at once for some reason.
But and it was Hextall that was apparently super loyal to Hextall and wouldn't fire him. So they fire Hextall, and then they fire his two assistant general managers the next day. But they fire his two assistant. Why didn't you just clean house? What did you not know? Oh, you know what? If they say the right thing in this next meeting, in this next 30-minute meeting after we fired the GM, then we'll hang on to it.
It's Wednesday. Do the Flyers have a new goalie by the weekend?
No.
I think they do.
I hope it's Ryan Miller, and I hope they pay too much.
Hey!
I hope they sign him to a 10-year extension, too.
Hextall got fired for being too patient. It's Wednesday. The weekend's days from now. What are you waiting for?
It's Wednesday. Do you know where your draft picks are?
Yeah, they're going somewhere else because we got to win the cup this year. Let's go.
If you are Toronto.
We spent $1 million on this new mascot with googly eyes. Let's get in the first friggin' round.
Yeah, he's been their highlight, by the way.
Let's get a minimum of 2 home dates. Woo!
With Dave, is that an instance
Hackstall?
of... Yes, the head coach, Hackstall. Is that an instance of a team finally doing the correct thing when it comes to coaches? Meaning, they fired the GM because he didn't provide the horses for the coach. And then the coach was actually... They were like, hey, let's not just fire.
Look at Philly's lineup, though. They have the horses.
Their defense...
Minus the goalie.
As bad as Pickard was against the Leafs anyway, their defense was abysmal.
There was a lot of breakdowns, man. Brutal.
Really, really bad. It's so funny because there's so many instances in the NHL where the GM should get fired instead of the coach.
Yeah, and this is the opposite.
But this is, I'm like, I don't know if they got this one right.
No?
No, I don't know. I mean, Hextall, looking at what he did in net. So what additions did he make this summer? He made Brian Elliott, which was a decent buy low option, I suppose. I think Neuvirth was already there. Alex Lyon looks like he might be all right. Stollers looks like he might be all right.
We've been through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay, we did this an hour ago.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, I'm going to be total hot takery here, so get ready, okay? How does this affect the Leafs' hot takery? If you're in a position and you're Kyle Dubas and you need a win, call the Philadelphia Flyers right now.
They're desperate.
They're desperate. And if you can't get William Nylander, if you really think that $300,000 is going to matter, I think they're willing to do something crazy. You got the guy to do something crazy with, and they got the players you need.
Start with Provorov. Start with Provorov.
Now, Flyers fans are going, no! Shut up, Leaf fans, shut up!
Our GM's going, I'm old and nuts! Guess which one wins, Flyers fans?
The Provorov situation is just the Nylander situation, except with the defenseman. So do you not want Goaltender more because he's already at 4.5?
He's just not as good.
He's not as good.
He's like another Jake Gardner. You need a guy. You want a stalwart. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the prevailing thought with Nylander is it's not that you can't afford him. It's that you can't afford to put that much money up front, which I would argue is wrong. But if you can't afford to put that much money in your forwards, whereas if you could say, all right, listen, I've got $30 million wrapped up in Tavares, Matthews, and Marner, which would be actually pretty good. $30 million. It might be 31,
That would be
32
a
million.
discount.
That'd be a discount.
Yeah, it's $30 million, yeah.
So yeah, because can you have $40 million wrapped up in those 4 guys? That's what you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
So or 36 or 38 million, whatever, if you want to split hairs. But can you say, okay, we got Riley on a good deal. We probably can re-sign Gardner. If we put $7 million, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know what it would be, into Ivan Provorov over the next 7 years. Can we say, okay, we've spent our money judiciously on the back end as well as the front end? I think you can say you can, especially with the emergence of Kasperi Kapanen. If there is a trade partner where you could have a win, Philadelphia is the team this week. I want Nylander in Toronto. Let me be on record and say that. But if you want to win, or if you want a trade win, if you're Dubas and you're backed into a corner and you can't get him, man, no better team than Holmgren.
Give him a little ring-a-ding.
Yeah, and then call and then when you sort of have a deal worked out, call Carolina and go, just so you know. Just so you know. Billy Bean the shit out of them.
And, for good measure, throw in Wayne Simmons and bring him to
Starts with Provorov, Simmons, and a first for the next 3 years.
Actually, I forgot. I have a prediction I'm going to make. So Simmons, to me, is exactly... I love him too, but he's exactly the sort of player that the Flyers want to keep. So they're mad that they're not playing Flyers hockey.
Yeah, it was the whole thing was they lost to the Leafs and didn't have a fight.
Didn't have a fight.
No one stood up for the losing.
Dave Poulin. Okay, so
we got killed, and so we didn't risk injury for it.
Yeah.
No. But that's not Flyer mentality, though. So Dave Poulin, who used to be the captain of that team, we've grown at a lot of things he says. He's absolutely right. And I'm pretty sure the guys in charge there were in charge when he was a player. Mm-hmm. So he knows. He knows when he says that. And yeah, you shouldn't expect to beat the Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers, because that's their identity, right? They're one of the few teams that has an identity that goes through decades, right?
Yep.
You're not supposed to be able to beat the Philadelphia Flyers 6-0 and escape without a black eye. They're not trading Wayne Simmons. Like, he's one of the only power forwards in the sport right now. It's not going to happen.
Come home, Wayne.
It's not going to happen. But I will make a prediction. When Freddie Gauthier goes on waivers, which he will, I think Philly scoops him up.
Wow, they're going to get a super nice big guy.
That's, you know what?
Freddie,
They're not going to make him fight. They're going to be like,
No,
hey, you know that super responsible fourth liner that you turned into with the Leafs? Fuck that! You're 6'5", throw a punch.
And he'll say no.
And, well, yeah, and they're going to be like, wait a sec. We claimed the friendliest 6'5" guy off waivers ever?
Literally.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think when both Matthews and Willie come back, they got to waive someone. I think it's going to be Goat, and I think they lose him. Mm-hmm. And who would have thought we'd be sad?
Well, you.
Well, I mean, listen.
I'm going to be sad.
I'm
going to be mad if they lose Calvin Pickard. That did not pan out.
Listen, you were not the only person with that take.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, Sid, who I love, said, he said, whoa, they're in big trouble now. They lost Pickard and McElhinney.
Well,
and it was like, well, no, they're not. But
it's worked
but
out,
I get it.
right? All they had was Freddie Anderson missed one game due to injury. If Anderson or Sparks
got injured, yeah.
Holy shit, would they be in trouble?
You don't want Gasky Squirrel or Jeff Glass up there. Mr. Glass.
Jeff Glass not even signed. He's not even signed to an NHL deal.
Let's talk about the Ottawa Senators.
What a comeback yesterday.
What a comeback, good comeback. But let's talk about Eugene Melnyk, not the Ottawa Senators.
Oh dear, Adam. I thought we were going to talk about them in a good way.
Elliot Friedman.
Never.
Let's get this out of the way. The NHL and the Senators know Eugene Melnyk cannot win an Ottawa area popularity contest against John Ruddy. With the LeBreton Flats downtown arena plan in serious jeopardy of collapse, it will not be difficult to paint Melnyk as the villain. He's deep in the civic doghouse with little chance of escape. Last year, Ruddy received the Ottawa Chamber of Commerce's Lifetime Achievement Award. The one-time Carleton University linebacker has a long list of local successes, culminating in bringing the CFL back to the nation's capital. In every divorce, one spouse gets support, the other gets the cold shoulder. Ruddy is Cheryl David. Melnyk is Larry. I don't know what that is.
What?
I guess that's a Larry David. No.
Oh, old people.
Anyway, I think that's a Larry David.
Is that a curb?
That's a curb joke. It's a
I
curb
missed
joke.
the joke.
I guess it's that Cheryl, his wife, is taking all his money.
Oh.
Because, anyway, I haven't watched a lot of Gerb, and I'm sort of embarrassed to say that. I've heard it's amazing. Melnick filed a $700 million lawsuit against Ruddy last Friday. Several sources indicate he is expecting a countersuit, although the exact response is still being considered. I can't tell you who's right and wrong. My interest is purely big picture. What does it mean? Suffice to say, the NHL is unhappy, and it is unhappy for two reasons. First, the Senators don't need another kick to the solar plexus, especially with Erik Karlsson returning later this week. Even if the new arena gets built, the team wasn't expecting to get there until 2022-2023 at the earliest. That means 4 more seasons in Canada. You can't mail it in that long. On the ice, we know the plan. The Senators are rebuilding. They're hoping to keep Duchesne in stone.
And actually,
Holy moly.
we have slight breaking sort of Senators news.
Okay.
From Scott Wheeler, the AHL has announced that Sportsnet 360 has picked up the following Marlies games. Now, I know you're going, Marlies what? December 9th, Marlies against Belleville. December 26th, Marlies against Belleville. Friday, March 8th, Marlies versus Laval. March 11th, Marlies versus Belleville. They only played Belleville, I think is the joke. Elliot, that was a thought in one of Elliot Friedman's 31
They
thoughts.
only play those.
And they do, though. That's how the AHL schedule works. They don't care. They play Belleville all the time. Yeah, the Marlies could be the best team in the league, the worst team in the league. We'll never know. They only play one team. Belleville. And there's one game against Laval.
Yeah. What do you constitute as breaking news?
Certainly not that.
That's breaking. That's breaking, damn it! Breaking!
What did it break?
The internet.
No.
Belleville Pecs.
It did not have champagne
Yes.
flipping over its head onto its butt.
Belleville booty. This did Bell Vegas. Or as the locals call it, Belleville.
They still have a Japan camera there.
What is that?
That's a like.
What is that? Oh, young Jesse.
Yeah, like a
Japan camera?
which is where you got cameras and got your film developed.
Yeah.
Like a
Blacks.
Fujifilm or a Blacks or a Kodak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japan camera still exists in Belleville.
Belleville.
Do they still have a Video 99?
I'm sure they do. There are Video 99 still around.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep, Belleville I'm sure is one of them. Actually, I'm almost positive. I'm Googling it.
We had like a local video store, Markville Video, that closed like 2 years ago. That I was
Mark sad
always
about
cheering for it. Mark was sad about that. The thing I always remember about that video store is like once every 2 years, someone drove into it.
It's an avenue.
They would like miss their parking spot and drive into it.
Was it hard to see?
It was pretty tiny, actually. It was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that Video 99 was the.
No, Video 99 was in the other plaza.
Yeah.
No, Markville Video.
It was big. It was big.
It was like every 2 years. It happened all the time. You pull up to rent a movie and you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, the water's
I actually got super wasted on top of that Markville Video once. We climbed up on the roof of that plaza. and we were smoking pot out of an apple, and then we're drinking 40s. And I was definitely 19. Not. But yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, man. What was cool about getting up there? I don't know, but what was cool is that if you got on top of the plaza, nobody could hear you because it was a flat roof. So you could yelling and screaming or whatever. No one hears you because the sound doesn't go down.
That's what you thought you drunk.
Well, maybe that's
Yeah, I
what
think that's a... nobody can hear us.
unless you're screaming down to the street. No, not really. Video 99 in Napanee, not in Belleville. Sorry.
Not the same.
Not Bell Vegas. Nap Vegas,
Belleville.
which sounds like my kind of town because I like my naps. Nap Vegas.
Adam is the king of naps. If nobody knows that.
Man.
Adam can nap at any time. Adam will drink a pot of espresso and he'll nap.
I had a delicious nap this morning.
Delicious.
Oh, I got up early, and
You got up to have a nap?
Yeah, well, I got up, and then about 10:30, I was texting with you, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, and I slept till 12, right in time for Hockey Central.
You sounded like you were on drugs when I spoke to you this morning.
Yeah.
Steve, you coming? What? No, I'm just heading downtown now. I gotta go to CBC for some KFC.
Boy, did I sleep well though.
Sorry, I'm smoking weed out of an apple on a video store.
Hey, listen, if you haven't done that, you haven't lived. You haven't lived yet. So go.
That was the same plaza where I got shot with fireworks.
Especially if you have children, go up on top of your local video store tonight and smoke weed out of an apple.
Do you know where your kids are? On top of the video store.
Yeah.
This is the answer.
Yeah.
Doing drugs
In Scarborough.
in Scarborough.
Legal drugs now. See, we can talk about this because it's legal in Ontario. And if you're from the United States where you can still go to jail for 20 years for having a joint,
Unless
Still
you're
bad for
from
you.
like 3 states.
Yeah, Colorado, it's like, yeah, let's go, and then the state over, it's like, you're going to jail forever, and by the way, Jesus hates you. It's seriously, it's insane. Like, Iowa's drugged, and I think Iowa and Montana have, like, terrible drug laws.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're right next door, so interesting. My geography might be a little off on that, but whatever.
Nobody will correct you.
Nope.
No, 100% they will.
That reminds me of the weed treaty of 18...
Hey, let's do the press conference, shall we?
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
We have a question from Lay. It's L with 4 A's and a Y.
All right.
Definitely from the East Coast. They
say, I was listening to old SDP podcasts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whenever I was caught up, but I was listening to a February 2016 one when you guys mentioned Joe Robb, and he apparently has a lifetime ban from the arena for throwing waffles onto the ice. So
You threw your dog on the ice?
Not my dog.
You see? Because
the actual
Jesse has a dog named Waffles,
Yeah.
who he's feeding waffles to the other day. Is that, if you feed waffles, is that sort of like cannibalism?
I think so.
That's like the South Park, where if you bought the season DVDs, and they had a pig called Pork or something?
Yeah.
No, Macon.
Macon, and then they fed it bacon?
And Kyle's just there, he's like, that's so wrong.
Sorry.
So Joe Robb, the guy who apparently threw the waffles onto the ice, has a lifetime ban from the arena. And Lane wants to know, how do you think he feels now since the Leafs are pretty damn good?
You probably only get to see a game once every 5 years anyway.
I think he watches it in the bar and tells everyone around him who he doesn't even know, you know, I'm the waffles guy,
I think that's so true.
and you have me to thank for the good team because I got my point across.
I was the turning point.
Yeah. He was Ritu Rob Specs or whatever his name is. Waffle to Joe Robb.
Joe Robb seems like a guy who sits at a bar and tells people that I'm the waffle guy.
He's at the Tartan in Oshawa.
He's the guy Taylor Swift mentions in the song Me.
Yeah. Why you gotta be so waffle throwing?
Yeah.
Rob Joe or whatever.
Yeah.
Joe Robb?
Yeah.
Joe Robb Jr. JR. Jeremy Roenick. He was banned for scoring the OT winner in 2004.
He should have been.
The coffee has worn off.
He might need to be banned for his take.
Final question.
I need a cup of Joe. Rob.
Daddy Fat Mao 5 Man.
Dead Mouse?
Nope.
Nope.
Daddy Mao 5 Man.
Okay, so it's not actually Dead Mouse.
Simple question. Will Duncan Keith score a goal this season? He currently has 0 goals.
It's always amazing when certain players can still hang in the league and still be good, but their goal scoring just disappears.
Didn't he have 2 last year?
Yeah, he had as many primary points as Roman Polak.
Duncan.
He might have less this year actually.
His goal totals from the last couple of years have been 2, 6, 9, 10, 6, 3, 4, 7.
He is 2 years removed from a 47 assist season.
Well, that's the thing. Last year he still had 30. If you're a defenseman, you put up 30 points or more. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
And luckily, Duncan Keith doesn't even make Duncan Keith money because of that cockamamie contract that he's got.
He's doing okay.
Watch, he's going to go on a 5-game goal streak.
Well, we've mentioned it, so he will.
Yes. That's what we do on the show. Who did we resurrect? Max Pacioretty.
Oh, yeah.
0 goals and then 6 in 5 games.
Bang!
Yep.
We did that.
He's a little streaky.
It was us for sure. We're arrogant enough to believe that too.
And it's amazing. Every year with Max Pacioretty, every single year. Oh, he's not scoring. Give it time. Bang, 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 bang. There you go.
Yeah. Because that's what he does.
Now, wait for him to do it again.
You might have to wait 10 games.
Yeah.
But he will do it.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Oh, was it a flash in the pan every 2 months for 10 years?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it was. Surely.
Final thing from the dude you see is his Reddit name. I think it's a great idea. He says rather than having a goal song that's always the same for each team, what do you guys think of having each individual player having a goal song?
I like that.
A batter walk-up song.
I just don't think. I mean, I was gonna make a Ron Hainsey joke, but we'd have heard that at least 3 times this year.
Yeah.
You know, I do like that. I think that's really cool because I like the Batter Walk-Up songs. It kind of tells you a little bit about the Batter and how terrible their music taste is.
Oh, so we can't have an hockey. It would show too much personality.
You see?
We must have one song for the team.
It's like
It's Pee-wee bullshit that they all have their own song, like they do in Pee-wee.
Hockey hit its peak in NHL 97 when the players were 3D, but they all had the same faceless face. That's how the general managers want the teams to play.
PS2
We want you to
graphics.
win, but we don't want you to actually stand out and actually, have a, you just have a number. We don't even want a name on the back. Just generic face.
It would have been great to finally discover what Igor Ozhiganov's was last game. Kalinka.
When he did score, I was like, oh, that's what he looks like.
Good for him. That, man,
Because I don't really know Igor Ozhigananov's face. It's harder now, too, with the visors. You don't know everybody's face. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I can pick out every Leaf player in a crowd except for him right now.
he's been so unnoticeable in a good way that every now and then I'm like, who's next? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was interesting, as I was thinking, is that when, the Waffles year, I wouldn't have been able to pick out half the Leafs in a crowd. I can't tell you what PA Parental
If you went to a grocery store tomorrow...
Brad Boyce?
Okay.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
If you went to a grocery store tonight and Kasperi Kapanen walks in...
I would be able to know. I would
Yes,
know. Yes,
100%.
100%. Yep.
100%. I'm trying to think of the
I'd be able to pick
I've ever
out
noticed.
Ron Hainsey because he looks exactly like Dave Clarkson. So they both have the killer eyes. Somebody tweeted that today, actually, and I was like,
They
yes!
can be brothers.
Totally. They both have the freaky eyes. Yes! You can only...
How dare you speak to me, eyes?
It's my fucking water bottle. You know?
That's a thing a Leaf said.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Anyway, did we enjoy hanging out at
No.
Castle Wild?
Yeah, it's nice in here.
No, thanks. Glad. Dogs are over there sleeping, not barking. You guys are on your phones? I guess we're done now.
Yep.
I thought we were already done.
Oh.
Okay, bye.
That's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your friends.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.